And there we are. Welcome to this fun live stream we're doing. It's finally happening. We're finally getting a Blackmagic live stream in 2022. I'm so excited. I wish it was a camera update. Maybe it's going to be a camera update still. Who knows? But I'm here with Patrick Sterling and Tim Buttner to kind of help me fill out a little bit of the my lack of knowledge of Davinci. I know Davinci, but these guys use it way more than I do. So it's gonna be fun. We're gonna be watching the live stream, commenting on it, and going it. But just to give a little background, Patrick and Tim, why don't you guys give a little bit of background on yourself? We can start with Patrick.
Cool. Yeah, I'm Patrick. I run a channel all about Resolve stuff primarily, and really focusing or dipping a lot into the Fusion page and that sort of deal. I started dabbling in editing back in high school and stuff. I was in the Creative Cloud, that world for like 10 years, and doing some cool stuff in After Effects. So when I jumped over to Resolve, I found the Fusion page and stuff started clicking. And there's a lot of cool stuff still yet to be done in Fusion. So I want to be the one to do it.
For sure. And you guys should definitely go check out his channel. Just Patrick Sterling on YouTube. He's great. He has great videos, great content. You guys should definitely check it out. Love his stuff. And Tim, tell us a little about, I think people know you at this point from different content and stuff. And but, I think we lost your audio. Give him 1 second. But yeah, we're so my webcam looks bad. Another camera channel.
Are you guys getting audio now?
Yeah, there we are.
Yep.
There we go. Okay. My Ultra Studio hasn't been playing nice with this restream thing. So my history with Resolve is I started color grading about 2011, 2012 with Resolve, and was editing with Final Cut around that time, switching to Premiere, but I had edited in Premiere 2004, 2005, but I switched to Final Cut in 2004, 2005. So I've always been switching around, and then I started editing in pretty much Resolve in 2016-15 period when they did 12 and 12.5.
Awesome. So you've been around it for a decent while then. Which is your favorite one, since you seem to be the one that's traveled around a good bit between us here?
At this point, Resolve.
Resolve? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be...
There's no denying you stay in one program, you hit the color tab, you're coloring, you just go right back into editing. You can do the Fusion, the Fairlight, all without switching apps, and it just makes life easy.
Yep. No, for sure. So I know there's a lot of speculation on what this is going to be. What do you guys kind of predict is going to happen? I think, I know Tim and I found some back end stuff on Blackmagic's website. When you actually look at the inspect source on it, it said both Davinci Resolve 17.5 and Davinci Resolve 18 is what they called the photo in the back end of their website. So I noticed that they took that down recently, changed the name. What do you guys think is going to happen?
I think, I don't know, whether they call the mainline update 17.5 or 18. I think that's the least exciting thing.
Yeah, for
although,
sure.
although it'll definitely like just show how they're thinking about it. So I do think that is going to be like the mainline release is one of those. I don't think they're rebranding to Davinci Resolve Cloud. I think Cloud is going to be a feature that works alongside Resolve.
I agree. So I'm going to read an email quickly that I sent to a Blackmagic rep back in 2020. So this is kind of a little crazy, but a new Blackmagic eGPU RAID storage array device that kind of like an Ultra Studio 4K mini device that simply put will have a computer little tower with a RAID array system in it of SSDs and pretty much like a whole bunch of different stuff. But like I'm saying to them that I want them to combine all this technology and have it like an extended GPU, extended RAM, like a RAID storage device, and have Ultra Studio built into it. And that essentially is where I think they could have gone, but maybe added a cloud type of storage aspect to it where you can use like a DaVinci Resolve project server type of thing. So that way you're sharing footage and project to other people that you're collaborating with around the world.
That would be pretty sick, I think.
Yeah, I think the most likely thing is just because Resolve already has really cool collaboration tools if you're on a local network. Like you can like have multiple people working in a project. You have bin locking. You have like chat in Resolve, and like it has ways to like rectify all the differences and stuff, and you can compare changes. If the big part of this cloud update is just bringing their normal suite of collaboration tools just online, I think that in itself is like a really big deal. And even like that would still probably require one person to host it on their machine. I think if there was like an external machine, that'd be interesting. And depending on like how, I'm not sure. Like my gut is that that'll just sort of be like the feature, and like someone has to like have the like server live or something, or like the database.
Yep.
My gut is that there won't be like a big financial component. I think if there was going to be one, like some like not requiring any one person to host that and just like it living on some server space somewhere. But I think either way, I think footage is like the big question mark of like, because you don't want to be like pulling these files live over any sort of network. So whether they're leaning heavily into like a proxy workflow,
local storage is still hands down better, especially with Fusion and Color, because you want to be working with the best possible connection to the footage, which is going to be through the local Ethernet port or the Thunderbolt, and even USB-C in some small instances. But nonetheless, you really want that stronger hardwire connection as opposed to pulling from the web.
Yeah. What I'm super excited about is projects that are just completely built inside Fusion, that like aren't like a lot of like core motion graphics stuff completely built like with Fusion elements. There would be nothing for someone to download. So if I could just like send a link and have a timeline with multiple different Fusion compositions that anyone could jump in and like poke around, or like live troubleshooting, I think like sick. A dream situation for this is like a lot of stuff in Fusion. I think it'll open up some doors, because you don't have that hurdle of, okay, how do I get this B-raw or red or ARRI footage to play somewhere?
There's also
Yeah.
the possibility they have their sound effects library. They could open things up to shared assets through a cloud where you have like sound effects you can get from people. You can get fusion templates for types of visual effects or graphics and certain stuff like that, or even stock footage. They could open that up with their cloud services.
Yeah, that kind of feels like what, maybe a direct, because they got to catch up to Adobe, I think, in a couple of different things. Like, I think from what it sounds like, they're far ahead of where Adobe is on certain things, but they've got to catch up more of the infrastructure and stuff behind it. So it's going to be interesting to see here. And for those of you watching, I want to let you know we will be watching it. We're actually here. I'll show it's going to be working. We're going to have this up here to the left. This is going to be the live stream over here. We're going to be watching it, commenting on it as it's happening here. So, you guys can go watch Blackmagic's live stream, or you can hang out here and have fun and kind of, hear a commentary on it as it's happening. But glad everyone's here, and it's gonna be so exciting to kind of see what happens. A camera would be cool. I'm still wearing my where is it here? My box camera shirt. Just crossing my fingers that maybe we'll get something. Maybe we'll get something at NAB, which I'll be at. But
this is the original box camera from Blackmagic Design.
It's a sexy camera.
It is, dude. They should still go with this design. Blackmagic crash camera.
They should. I mean, yeah, that thing looks like it would go through a good bit.
He dropped it down an elevator shaft for one of the Expendables movies, so yeah, of course.
Who needs memory cards? Who needs solid state USB-C drives when you can just like plug in an SSD into your camera?
Oh,
slot it in.
Oh gosh, plugging in SSDs to your camera, I don't really ever want to go back to another camera that has like SD cards.
It also just feels good. Like when you're like poking like SD cards out, it's like, hey, here's my footage. Versus like you feel like you're like loading a mag or something. You're just like, we're good to go.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
You could put SSDs in this old one. I actually still have one in here. I don't even know what's
That's
on
cool.
it.
That is pretty cool. I like the insert. Maybe they should go back to that for something. Which I know you can buy those for the Ursa, right? To like put in the back end.
Yeah, on the
of
back
it.
end.
Yes.
That's what I shot on for a bit.
Yeah.
And it's still really nice.
Although what I want them to do is replace that SSD attachment and put it as a wireless video transmitter.
That would be cool. And then maybe do like
sort of like what DJI is doing.
Sort of like DJI, but also if you look at like some of the new HyperDeck 4Ks, because I like the idea of having between the battery and the camera body, having it there, because it's a little better balanced. And you don't have that you're trying to wrangle with where you're positioning your wireless transmitter, because I don't like the way HyperDecks are attached, or even like the Hollyland, which I have Hollyland Cosmo. So it's just, for me, better balancing when I'm on a Steadicam or if you're doing gimbal work.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be interesting to see what they come out with next for cameras, even if it's not anything until, like, I feel like if they don't come out with anything here before like June, we're probably not going to see anything until the fall, I would imagine.
Which would be IBC.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years, July 18th. I think it was July 18th that they released the 12K.
That's nuts.
It's
Oh yeah, by the way, 10-year anniversary of the original cinema camera.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's so crazy. They've only been around for 10 years and have made such great cameras at this point. And gotten to the technological level that they are at to actually be an industry like breaker or mover just because of the tech. It's pretty cool.
How long ago was even the new studio cams?
Studio cams
last
were like
year, right?
maybe 2014.
November? No, the new one update.
I'm pretty sure it was
new one. That was
Oh, the
November
broad-
last year.
November.
Yeah, I remember because I had to do a video on it, and I was in the middle of nowhere in Seattle, and I had to like stop in the middle of a trail and like read about it and then make a video for it. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's-
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, because especially from the pace they were at, more in the middle of COVID, where they were doing a lot more one-off like announcements because there wasn't going to be any big shows to be at. Like they had a pretty wild pace back then. So the fact like there hasn't been anything on the camera front since November, like there's no way we're not today.
means they're
it's been
Today's all
about
about
a
Resolve.
year since February last year for the Pocket 6K Pro.
Yep.
Then the Ursa Broadcast G2.
Which, I mean, that's not
November
much of
last
a
year.
new camera because they just, I mean, it's literally just an Ursa with a 6K Pro sensor in it,
Yeah.
that has a
The
couple
one thing
more.
I want them to do is fix in firmware, choose whether it's DB or ISO. So you have the choice.
Yep. That would be pretty cool. All right. So it looks like we're still about 12 minutes, 10 minutes away. I'm sure they're going to run it like they do for a little bit, let people join the live stream. But, we have these Davinci Resolve experts and users here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to let us know in the chat. We'll keep going. But it's going to be fun. I'm really excited. Even if it's just to be Davinci Resolve update. I
I
feel like
see a comment about the Pocket 6K 4 body designed like similar to this almost.
Is that
It's from Jasbret.
Yep. Is that the newest one?
There was a
Let me see. I think it's the
1246. Yeah.
1246. Let me check that out. But yeah, feel free, everyone watching the live stream, ask us questions. We'll keep commenting. We'll try to get to some different questions as we go along here. But I can't find that one for some reason. But yeah, should be fun. What's the story with the...
With long jump and all that, that's all just compression for codecs. I mean, I almost barely ever see most of that. It's almost always intraframe, I think, now. I don't think I see any long drop anymore.
It's a great question. It's a very technical question there for this.
What is up?
It's been a while
is
since
the
I've
story?
studied up on the codecs because I mainly focus on 12-bit, and that's for linear versus log. And because with the Blackmagic cameras have always been 16-bit linear but 12-bit log, and then it's usually like a question of chroma subsampling and those various data compressions.
No, for sure. Codecs are always interesting and trying to find the right one. And then, like, there's not always a ton of information about them, though. You really have to go digging into some technical manuals and technical, like, because there's just not a lot of people that talk about them unless people who actually, like, work on them can figure them out. But, so I do want to...
video from 2014 of someone who broke down everything to do with codecs, so you really understand it. But I don't really remember. It was on Vimeo.
Yeah, I feel like
no one's
the...
seen
I do want to take a second. We have a second here to explain why the live streaming until the Blackmagic camera released video is now down. My power went out last night, and for some reason my backup didn't work, and I woke up and people were really mad because the live stream ended. So I apologize.
I thought you simply ended it for the Davinci Resolve because they were like,
I mean,
they're
hey.
going to announce a new one.
Look,
just
Blackmagic,
gaslight them all and just tell them, no, there was a camera.
there was a camera.
There was a camera.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, Blackmagic did throw me a little bit of a bone on the last day that I predicted that they would be doing a release. That's when they announced that they were going to be doing this live stream. So thank you. I'm sure Grant Petty did that personally for me. So thank you personally. Yeah, thank you.
And I can say Captain Hook is at NAB right now, or he's at Vegas preparing.
Yep.
So maybe there could be a new camera at NAB where they switched and now they're doing Resolve because they want to combat against
that's a
Adobe.
good point. That's an interesting point. And I will be at NAB and actually have an interview with Blackmagic which is going to be interesting for like 30 minutes on Tuesday that I'll be releasing. So everyone keep an
Rad.
eye out for that. It's going to be fun. I don't know if they're ready for my level of sarcasm and questions, especially if they have not released a cube camera or a box camera yet. I'm definitely going to be like, in the interview, like, here's some shapes. What's your favorite shape? And then everyone's going to be like a cube. And then, maybe I'll stick a Confinity camera in there and be like, oh, sorry, that wasn't meant to be. Jaspreet, I'm going to NAB here Saturday. I'm going to be on the show floor for all like Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We're going to have content all over the place with this on all of our social platforms and stuff. It's going to be awesome. I've got a couple different ones. And Adorama is definitely on my list. And I'll be checking that out. And we have a couple questions here for Patrick.
Hey.
From Dr. Hans Brewery. Ooh.
Yeah. So for anyone that doesn't know, I have a plugin effect called Proto that I recently updated to version 2. It's just my take on Saber from After Effects. Like it's a proud ripoff. But I like it a lot, and especially version 2 I think looks really rad. And you can do lightning is interesting, just because if you want it to fork in a certain way. But general electricity effects, you could do some cool stuff in there. I will have, if you search on Gumroad, I'm pretty sure there isn't too much fusion stuff in general. But June, June, on Gumroad has a whole bunch of custom fusion and resolve effects, and has a really good looking lightning one. And I've also bought their pixel sorter for doing pixel sorting natively in Resolve, and I like that a whole lot.
Sweet. Yeah, definitely go check out his Proto V2. That's it's pretty cool. It's cool to see the response you've gotten from your community on that stuff, and wish I had a good ability.
And that was kind of off of what Saber was from Video Copilot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which Video Copilot's been doing nothing for After Effects for almost years.
It's so sad.
But yeah, I wrote them in 2018 about, are they going to update Action Essentials to 4K elements? And they said, yeah, it's going to come soon. 4 years later, nothing.
Here's a good question from Gregory, probably for you, Tim. Do you ever transform the BMPCC film color space something like an ARRI Alexa and use the built-in ARRI Alexa LUT to convert to Rec 709, or does this degrade the footage?
I mean, you can do that. There's the color transform tool inside of Resolve. So you can definitely transform to ARRI easily, and then you can use ARRI LUTs. But I generally these days just use the Resolve color management because it just normalizes everything much faster for me, and then it gives me a good starting point.
Yeah. Good point. DVS chimes in here asking if will Blackmagic increase 13 stops to 15 stops of dynamic range? That's a good question. And I know there's been some interesting cameras in the news here recently that I did last week where this camera has 22 stops of dynamic range and can reproduce color in pitch black conditions, which is weird in as of, just because the human eye goes, I think, about to 21 stops of dynamic range. So it's kind of interesting seeing cameras do it. But would you say a higher dynamic range is something we'll see in future Blackmagic cameras? I would think so.
Well, first off, the Ursa Mini Pro was claimed to be 15 stops with a 4.6K sensor. The 12K is claimed to be 14. So it's really the pockets. So this original cinema camera was 13. The pocket original was 13. The production 4K was 12, roughly. The first Ursa and Ursa Mini 4Ks were 12. So then the 4.6K 15, and as I already said with those, so we've seen those higher dynamic ranges. So I mean, it's really just the pockets.
And I can attest. I can attest to the fact of that, that increase. The Ursa the image is just better. I don't know what. Yeah, you can just tell the difference. Everything's a lot like just smoother on it from the transitions from shadows to highlights. It's just, yeah, it's great. It's great. Cool. Let's see what
Blackmagic just tweeted out another like 5-minute reminder. So
They do that.
doing what they can to get more people.
Yep.
Well,
so we are. Let's see here.
You
got it?
I got the notifications right to my phone.
It looks like we still got about. Which actually I think I can.
3:23.
Yeah, and I can actually full screen this now because they have actually started this. Sweet. So yeah, we got about 3 minutes left. We'll see. Maybe they'll start. Maybe they won't.
Berlin, I do use Resolve color management, not so much ASUS anymore. To that question from a couple moments ago.
Let's see. I think we can take a couple more questions. Let me see.
What about you, Pat? What do you use?
I haven't shot much since I moved. My primary job is now all remote, and working more on presets and templates. So I'm out of the real film world for a little while.
So you're not using Resolve color management or ASUS then?
No. Nope.
Okay.
Nice. And funny enough, actually met Patrick, or I don't think I've ever met you in person.
Yeah.
But
our connection.
Our connection. Yeah. We well, you know Tim LaPointe, who's been on the channel a lot. Correct? Yeah. Because you've worked with Tim, or you kind of know about Tim. And then he actually Patrick was one of the first people that commented on my first to get to 1,000 subscribers video back a while ago, and he got some free merch from me. So that's how we kind of connected. And yeah, it's kind of
it's nice. It was nice.
Awesome. Oh, do they have countdown music? Let's see if I can get that in here.
They got a little.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, it is the normal. They use this music all the time.
Let's see.
Man.
Let's see which one.
I also just want to be like surprised with something. Like, give me a random resolve feature I didn't know I wanted. That's what I want.
I would love that too. I mean, they've surprised me in the past with so many different features. So
maybe some like AI color grading. That'd be kind of cool.
I mean,
give me RotoBrush
that company
and
that's
live
there.
transcriptions.
Oh yeah, RotoBrush or whatever would be really nice. Yeah,
That would be awesome.
because sending to India to get rotoscope work is like the cheapest option right now. Oh boy.
All right.
My buddy, so we did that for the Wildman feature, sent stuff to India.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, that's what you gotta do.
All right, guys, are you guys getting excited? We are like almost 30 seconds away from this going live. I'm really excited.
Does anyone know if they normally wait to update their website until after the stream is done?
I think they've already gone
usually
live.
wait afterwards.
They wait
Or
a second.
just, I mean, I'm talking about like the actual like product page.
No, the product page usually is like a little bit
Waits
after,
a little bit.
or sometimes during the tail end.
That makes sense. I
Here
don't
we
have to
go.
like it, though.
We appreciate everyone here watching this with us. Here we go. Oh, they took away the counter. And suspense. I will say they...
Hi, I'm Grant
here
from
we go.
Blackmagic Design, and in this update I'd like to talk about Davinci Resolve and collaborative workflows. I think we've developed a really great cloud workflow, and it's really exciting. But before I start, I wanted to talk quickly about HyperDeck. So we're going to be announcing a new model today. It's called HyperDeck Shuttle HD. So let me show you, and we'll check it out.
Ooh,
As you can
okay,
see,
so we do get a
it's
product.
very different.
Huh.
The biggest difference is really the front panel. It's designed for desktop use. It's the same profile actually as AT Mini Extreme, but it's a full HyperDeck. Now the design is really dominated by this large search tile on the front there. Yeah, your hand really naturally rests on it, so it's really nice to use. So I'll show you if I turn it sideways, you can see it really rests there really nicely. And then you have these really big transport control buttons at the top there, the same as traditional broadcast decks. I'll show you the rear connections. So around the back there, you can see there's the connections. So there's HDMI in and out, and you can record and play via HDMI. Now it's actually a HD model, so it handles NTSC, PAL, 720p, 1080i, and 1080p formats. The HDMI makes it perfect for AT Mini because it plugs straight in. Now there's a USB-C connection on the back for recording and playing to external discs. Plus it has an SD card slot at the top there, and it handles both SD cards and UHS 2 cards. There's also a 1G Ethernet port, so that means any ATEM switcher can control the deck using Ethernet, even ATEM Minis. So you can trigger playback like in macros. Plus there's a standard 12-volt DC power connection, and it includes a power supply.
Ooh,
So let's plug it in.
Interesting.
So I have a HDMI monitor here, so we can see the playback. So what I'll do is I'll plug in the power first.
This is just, this is kind of out of the blue
I'll plug in the HDMI.
tech. I wasn't expecting anything like this.
I was
There it
hoping
is. Now
for
insert an SD card.
new mini panel for color grading, but we'll see. This is still, this is what Blackmagic does. They just
there.
announce stuff like it's like, oh, we weren't
So
expecting that.
after I check the card out to play, I just press play. See, there it is. So you can see it's playing back the clips on the monitor. To loop playback, you just press play a second time, and it'll loop all clips. It'll loop one
super
clip
interesting.
if you have the
They're
clip button
committing
down.
to like this sort of playback
So let's
model.
try the search dial. So
Instead
to do
of
that, you
bringing
press
video
the jog
into
and
the
scroll
software
buttons to
for
use
the
it.
ATEM
So
Minis.
I can use, there's a jog button there, and I can do jog.
Yep.
You can see that. I'm jogging around. It also has scroll, which is there.
Yeah,
So
another
it's like
camera
a
channel.
faster
Love the
jog.
stream equipment.
So you
Yep.
can see it's
Yep.
nice. Now to shuttle, it also has shuttle. So to shuttle, you push both the jog and scroll buttons at the same time, like that. Now you can see I can shuttle up and down the media. So it's like, a traditional broadcast deck shuttle. Now I'm going backwards.
That's
Now you might have
that's
noticed
pretty
the clip
cool.
button. I
That's
mentioned
not
it a
bad.
second ago.
Yeah, if you
It's
need
used to stop
playback
playback after the
of
current
external
clip.
video
Oops.
during your streams.
Now that's really
That is
important
really
when
interesting.
you're playing clips into a switcher.
thing's probably gonna be
like you could
like
have a card
150
with a lot of
bucks,
TV commercials or music
if I
had
videos
to
and
guess.
stuff like that. And you don't really want it playing into the next clip accidentally. So we put a clip button on, and that'll stop the playback at the end of that clip. Now you can
Okay,
see
they
there's
gotta
also a
talk about
record
it
button.
sometime.
So you just push that when you want to record. This HyperDeck is a fantastic master recorder for AT Mini as well. Now you might have
Interesting.
noticed that there's actually no LCD on it. So like, how do you change the menus? So that's easy because the menus are actually overlaid on the video output. It's why the menu buttons are recessed. You can see them there. Because you don't want to accidentally push one of those buttons when you're in the middle of playing back. So let me show you the menus work by pressing the menu button here. And if you look at the screen, you can see it come up. Now you use the search dial to go through the menus, like that.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
And then when you want to go into a menu, press set. So I'll press set.
I love how matter of fact he is with everything.
So it supports ProRes, DNX, and H.264 file formats. So you have all the codecs you need for live production or post-production. It really has codecs for both. Now it supports long recordings into a single file. Plus you get true interlaced H.264 format. Now that's really important with 1080i HD formats, but it's also important for recording NTSC and PAL formats. All the archive content you might be recording is generally NTSC, PAL, or 1080i HD formats, and it's interlaced. So with an interlaced H.264 files, it's a really important feature for archive. It keeps the original image structure of the videotape unchanged because you're capturing everything. Now there is another cool feature we put in there,
Whoa.
and it's a teleprompter. It's got a teleprompter
What?
built in. With a big, large search style, we thought it'd be fun to add a teleprompter. Now, you just
be
use
fun.
RTF text files as a script. So let me show you how to enable it. The
Okay,
settings
that's
are in
pretty
the video
cool.
format menu. So all I need to do is go down to the codecs, and I'll go in there, and I can scroll down the bottom. You can see it's all the way down the bottom there. I'll just push set. Now it'll switch over, and I better close that menu. Now what I need to do though is I need to insert an SD card with an RTF script file. So I'll do that. Now I have a card here with scripts on it.
That's-
This one. So let's have a look at it in the computer. I'm going to show you what they look like.
That's a great idea. That's a nice little.
This is going to be so useful.
Video.
I could use this tomorrow
just
for my
insert the
gig
file.
tomorrow.
So you
Oh,
see I've got a
seems
couple of scripts
computer.
here. So I can open them up, and you can see I've got just a standard RTF file this is in text edit. So now let's load the script back into the HyperDeck Shuttle HD. So we'll eject that. Get the script file out.
I'm interested to
insert
see
it
what
into
this
the
looks
HyperDeck.
like.
It looks like he's using the
And
new
the
Mac
HyperDeck will show
Studio
the
with
text
Mac
file on screen.
Studio
It's
Display.
reading the RTF text file just
I'm
like
a little
video
disappointed.
code. I can even play it. So I'll play it. See? There it is.
Nice.
So it's playing the text file just like it's a video file. It also picks up formatting from the RTF file. It uses a built-in font, but most of the other formatting is actually read from the file. So like font color or font weight is read from the file. You also might notice that the font size, it's bigger than what the document was, which was 12 point. That's because teleprompters need a larger font size for display. So we have a setting for font scaling. So you can write a script in a normal font size, and the HyperDeck will actually scale it up for display for you. You don't need to keep like changing the font size in the text file between display and between editing.
Okay.
There's also settings for margin, plus vertical and horizontal flip. It's pretty important you can do that because the prompt is obviously mounted on the front of a camera, and you've got all the mechanical limitations of how it's mounted, so you might want to need to flip it or set the margins. But I think it's pretty exciting having a prompter built into HyperDeck. You can follow the presenter with the search style. It works with jog, scroll, and shuttle. So let me show you that actually. If you go jog, you can see I can scroll through. You can see it's picked up the colors.
God.
It's actually really nice.
Half the software out there.
Packed so much different stuff into a little box.
Really fast.
I know, like,
Or you can use shuttle, and that's more like our traditional prompter would work. See, there it is there. So you can set the speed.
oh, that's so cool.
I gotta get
There's an
this.
indicator at the top right-hand side of the screen to just show you what it's doing.
Oh, that's
So it's so nice. Now the next clip and previous clip buttons will let you switch between between scripts, sorry. So if I go between them, you can see I can change the scripts.
and you can switch.
That's pretty nuts too.
God, yes. Yes, I need it.
You know, let it scroll. There's job.
See, this is what you get, like,
So,
actually having software
You have more than one
developers.
script on
And
the
this
card,
is
and
right.
then
So
you can
that's
switch
all you
between them.
need
So
is
the
like
new
that in a
HyperDeck Shuttle
screen.
HD will retail for
Like, you don't need
$4.95.
that.
It's really such a unique design.
Okay,
It's very
it's-
powerful.
I'll
Plus,
give
HyperDeck
it that
Shuttle HD
price
is
tag
available
for the
now.
teleprompter stuff
There's so many
because
uses.
like
It's
that
a
replaces
master recorder,
a lot of
it's a media player for live production
stupid
switches.
teleprompter
It's
software
also
that you
a teleprompter.
spend so much
So
money on.
it's really
To
exciting.
like the ICANN
Anyway, so now let's
software
talk
for the
about cloud
ICANN
workflows.
teleprompters
Now we've
is
been working
shit.
on this for a long time.
And it's
However, I think
expensive.
it might be a good idea to explain our thinking on cloud workflows. There's really two issues we have to consider. One's technical, but the other one's actually Blackmagic culture. And culture is quite important. This is not just a technical problem. So how do we create a cloud workflow that still fits with our original culture? So we thought it'd be good to mention some of the culture rules we use that guide us. And the first is really probably related to subscription software licenses. If you have a TV subscription, you only really lose access to movies if you can't pay for it. However, in our industry, you're actually creating content, not consuming it, not just consuming it, So the work you create is in the software you use, and that could be years of work. So the problem with software subscriptions is if you lose your work if you can't pay, and you have to pay up every month even if you can't afford it. So what happens if you're out of work for a few months? There's really nothing you can do.
What a man.
You still have to pay. And if you don't pay, you lose your ability to work, But on some software, you could even lose years of work. So you kind of get punished the more you use the software. So why do vendors use subscription licenses? This is new, and it wasn't really like this in the past. And I think really to understand this change, you have to understand how tech companies are funded now. All venture capitalists really seem to care about now is subscriber counts. So if you want to investor money for a tech startup, then you have to comply with their business model. And what this really means is that they're really focused on a thing called customer lifetime value. And what they're investing in is companies that can lock in a customer. So a company's value is really calculated by estimating the profit expected from the customers over time. That's why so many technology companies have sky-high valuations. Even if the tech company doesn't make a profit, it's because the investors believe they're locking in customers for life. But the problem is customers hate it. You simply won't have a customer for life if the customers don't like how you treat them. But investors in technology companies don't really seem to notice that. I've noticed a lot of people seem to be investing in stuff they've got, technology they've got very little understanding of. So I think with Davinci we have a better business model here. It's actually free, so it's easy to download and it's easy to learn how to use. Then over time, if you do well and start to make some money, perhaps you buy something from us. You might upgrade to a color panel or an audio console. For us to make money, we actually have to help you make money. We only do well if you do well. And plus our engineers are really motivated to stay focused on what you need. So this means we can't design a cloud workflow that locks up your work. It would be against our culture. So, and there is another cultural rule. It's also very important to us. It's about tracking users and selling your data. As a secondary business, a lot of technology is now used to track customers. So the software you use actually creates profiles of your behavior, and that information can be sold. So much of the tech industry nowadays is all about big data, and it's tracking your every move. Tracking every move you do has become extremely valuable. So Blackmagic Design will never do this. This means we can't design a cloud workflow that tracks and collects information on you. What you do should be private. This is extremely important to us. So just because so many tech companies do it doesn't make it right. So when designing a cloud workflow, we have to work with these cultural constraints because they're really important to us. It's a culture thing. So now let's talk about the technical issues. Now there are a few ways we could have done this, but we think the best solution here is to use a technology that's already been proven to work, and that's email. Email uses a central data server, but you use a local app. It could be an app running on your phone. It could be like a mail app running on a computer. Now you can use web email, of course, but nobody really does that because it's slow and cumbersome and really clunky. That's why most people actually use the internet via various apps these days. You get a local app that has a user interface and it instantly responds to you. But in the case of email, your devices collaborate using data on a central server. That means your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your desktop computer, they all stay in sync. And now we've done the same thing. We've used the same method for Davinci Resolve, and it works incredibly well. Plus, nothing really beats downloading software for free and running it on the computer you already own. That's why we went with the technology solution used with email. Email solved this problem decades ago, and it works really well. But in our case, we're not really syncing between devices, we're syncing between people. People with different talents and experiences, you know, editors, colorists, visual effects artists, audio engineers, all working together, all on the same project, all at the same time. Even multiple people working on the same timeline. So it's really cool, and that's how we've designed the Davinci Resolve Cloud workflow. You download and use Davinci Resolve on your computer. The project data can be stored on a centralized server. Everyone can share and work on it from any location in the planet, and it's a true global workflow. One main thing that makes this work so well is the new Apple M1 chips. They're so fast. You know, we've been completely rewriting the processing pipeline of Davinci Resolve to take advantage of it. You might have noticed we've had a bunch of Davinci Resolve releases over the last year as we've completed this work. Each update has dramatically increased the speed of Davinci Resolve. So now anyone can do heavy image processing just using off-the-shelf computers. Now there's really two parts to this workflow. We'll be introducing a new Blackmagic Cloud web service, and we'll also be introducing Davinci Resolve 18. Now Davinci Resolve 18 supports the Blackmagic Cloud. So let me show you how it works. Now the first step is to go to the Blackmagic Cloud website. It's really easy, and you just click the Blackmagic Cloud icon on our webpage. So this is the Blackmagic Cloud homepage. It's where you log in or you create your Blackmagic, like a new Blackmagic ID. Now, I already have a Blackmagic Cloud ID, so let's log in.
They're going to make me change over. Dang it.
Put my password.
This is
Password. Damn it! I have to change the password of my luggage.
So you can see I have some services here. The project server is the one where we want to create the DaVinci Resolve project library.
Sorry.
The DaVinci Resolve library is where you put your DaVinci projects.
Yep. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So let's select a new library. First, you need to name the library. So we'll call ours Winter Wonderland. And you also need to select a server. Normally, you select a server located close to where you are.
okay. Yeah.
Sweet.
Let it set itself up.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's project-based. This is
So let it set itself up now. It's basically initializing the
Almost
library on
getting
the
rid of the
servers.
need for frame
There it
IO.
is. So
Yeah.
now
Oh,
we have a
Because
cloud
you can
library
just
set
do
up
it
and ready to use.
in the actual
So
software.
let's go back to DaVinci Resolve 18 and then use this new library. DaVinci Resolve 18 is, supports Blackmagic Cloud, and I have it here. There it is. Now it's really very simple to set up. All I need to do is click on the Cloud tab. So I'll go to the project window. You can see here. This is where my cloud projects are stored. Now I need to log into Blackmagic Cloud to see my project, so let's do that. I just enter my Blackmagic Cloud
so
ID
curious of how they'll price it.
and also my password.
Price it free.
Oops.
I mean,
Who knows?
Not for the server stuff, can't be.
yeah, I mean, servers.
It just won't be. You'll never lose
fine.
access. I'm betting you'll be able to like download your projects from the
You
cloud.
can see the library I created.
Yeah.
There it is.
Or you creating
Now
your
we
own
don't have any
server.
projects loaded into the library, so let's do that now.
He says you
I
select
actually
a
have a
server
local
location,
project that I
though.
want to share with the
Yeah.
colorist. So I'll select the local panel, and let's export this project. Here it is here. Now, well, I'll export it. There it is there.
This is crazy that they're the ones coming out with this tech. Like, this is absolutely.
Put it on the desktop.
This is
it
going
is.
to make it so hard for me.
Now, we have a DaVinci Resolve project file on the desktop. Now, most people call these DRP files, but it's the whole project exported into a file. So let's import that project into Blackmagic Cloud. Let's go back to the Cloud tab. And I go Import. And you can do this in reverse. There it is there. So you can take items out of the Cloud library and put them back into the local project. And there it is there. So let's open it. So we can click on the timeline. Oh, it's already up. And there it is. Now, it opens like normal. You can see there it is there. That's our project. It's very hard to even know it's a cloud project. It just looks the same as a local project. You know, we can change edits and do various things. It's super easy. What I really need to do is get some help with the color correction. So I want to share this project with a colorist. Imagine using a freelance colorist on this job. So let's do that. So let's call a colorist, and I can show how all this works. But first, we have to share the project with the colorist. We can do it in Blackmagic Cloud, or we can actually do it in the Cloud tab in DaVinci Resolve. Now we use their Blackmagic Cloud ID to share our project with them. So let's do that now. So I'll get their ID.
Yeah, footage is a big.
I'll go to the project.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how
Sure.
fast of a process this is. Like, if you have to do a ton of files, like how fast does this work?
It is.
How snappy is it?
Another thing we need to do is set the project to
They
multi-user
probably need
collaboration.
to have the files on their end.
We can
Yeah.
have the
But
bin
we'll
set to
find
single
out.
user, but only one person can work on it at a time. Or you can have multiple people working on this project at the same time. So like someone could edit while someone else is doing color grading the clips. You can have dozens of
That's-
people all working on the project simultaneously. So we need to
That's
set
nice.
multi-user collaboration, and that's in the file menu. So it's up here. Go down to there. There it is. Now I can work on the project while the colorist is grading.
Gosh. Oh my
Plus,
gosh.
Davinci Resolve now, when multi-user collaboration, will constantly save the changes as they work. So let's call the colorist. Get on Skype here.
Who's he going to call?
The camera, this monitor moves around. Hey, how you doing? Hello, freelance colorist.
How are you?
Good. How are you? So I want you to color grade my edit. So I've shared it with you. So can you share your screen, and we can see you log into Davinci Resolve. So that'd be really great.
Yeah, who doesn't
problem.
Skype?
Yeah.
Hilarious.
There you go. I can see you. I'll bring mine up full screen. So you should be able to refresh, and there it is.
So it's going to like be like
There
Google
it is.
Docs
Cool. Went to
of
Wonderland.
video editing, essentially.
I
Essentially,
can hear you really
yeah.
clearly. It sounds like you're only a few blocks away.
That connection.
Probably in
Yeah.
the same building.
There it is.
Okay, so I'll just need to relink that.
Yep.
Yeah, that's curious.
Okay.
So is that local?
I can't tell.
There we
you
go.
are.
And this is the
Cool.
timeline here that needs
Yep.
grading.
Yeah, there it is. I can see the timeline. That's my timeline. Great. Looks like it's all there.
I wonder if they're going to explain
Looks
how
like
this,
my edit.
Yeah, those
all
all those
files.
files
You
were
go to
just
color
on her
page and-
desktop.
Start grading.
Yeah.
which makes
So-
sense.
Yeah. Like that makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
You need the local files, but once you have the same files, you're working in the project at the
Bring
same
up my
time,
scopes.
completely remote.
Yeah.
Go.
That's
Yeah.
fascinating. I wonder if they have solutions though for keeping things updated because you're adding new files.
I should be able to see
have-
these grades here in my edit, so I'll switch back to my Davinci
sort of like-
Resolve so I can watch.
Verified
From my
structure of just like keeping a track
Yeah, no
of if something
problem.
comes in or out.
Do you want me to just, I can just work through all the shots and get that
Yeah.
all graded for you?
That's great, So when anyone changes anything, you can see it here in the viewer. Now, it won't update automatically, as that'd be confusing, but there will be an icon come up in the viewer that allows you to accept these changes.
So like Google Docs, yeah. Oh,
Yep, there's that
So you can see
icon.
it there.
Mm.
There it is. Now you can see the grades and the timeline. That grade's been done remotely.
Yeah,
So-
this makes it so much better than dealing with XML with Premiere
See
or
these?
Yes.
This looks so
any
good.
other kind of editor.
So that's the
'cause then
timeline
you
with the
just-
color corrections.
I had one
insane.
experience with Premiere Cloud
We can actually
projects,
see that.
and I hated
I'll
it.
accept those grades.
yeah, it's not good.
Because I can enable and disable the grades.
Like this
It's
is
kind of
what I thought it
classic
would be
Adobe.
like.
Yeah, this is just exactly what I wanted.
Dang it, I'm gonna have to switch platforms. I
Grades
don't
are
like
great.
that.
You can see that even
Come to the come to the light
you can see
side.
what
Come away from the
clip
dark
colorist
side.
is working on if I change to the color page. There
I'm
you
gonna have
go.
to check and see if I can put my effects in this.
So
at
this
the
is
same
great when you
time.
have two colorists
Yeah,
working
Ravi,
on
she did have the footage
the same
locally as
project.
well.
So
Yep.
in the color page, you can see there's the icon there. So this workflow is really quite flexible. It can be used in a bunch of different ways, so you can develop your own workflows. So it looks cool.
Flexible work. Oh, there we go. That's so cool,
There you
though.
are, working remotely. So thanks for that. I think your grades look really nice, and I'll let you keep color grading, and we'll talk to you later.
No problems. Thanks, Grant.
No worries. Take care. See you later.
The banter.
I don't know. It's like Ubisoft Let's Play banter.
Cool. This is great. Oh, look at that. You can see Elizabeth moving down the grade. She must be checking the grades. You can actually see the grade she's working on as she's moving through the clips. This is so awesome when you've got more than one person working together. It's really cool.
That's nice.
Imagine on-set grading where the colorist is actually in a post facility with a color accurate monitor and a big color panel. it would completely transfer on-set grading because they could work remotely, but at the same time the shoot's actually happening. Now the reason this works so well is we both had a copy of the media.
Mm-hmm.
Now we use Dropbox to sync the media between the computers. I can show you the media on my Dropbox. Have it down here. In the web browser.
Oh, so they do it through
There it is
Dropbox.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
But I'm
You're
pretty
gonna
sure
make me pay for
that's
Dropbox
So that was my
again.
media.
yeah, that's
Now we install the Dropbox software on this computer so it's synced. But this means we both had copies of the media. However, Dropbox normally only downloads the files when you need them. And that actually doesn't work very well for video editing because it would slow everything down while you wait for the files to come down. So to fix this, there is actually a setting in Dropbox that lets you cache everything locally.
so long
I
story
can show
short,
you
it's
that
up to
so
the
you
end
kinda know
user
how to make that work.
to
But you can cache it. Interesting.
yeah. That's just a Dropbox feature, not a them feature though.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. So
So this is the
they,
setting here. That's the one you want to set. This will make sure that the media is fully downloaded to the computer so Davinci Resolve can see it. And you can even actually do it by folder. So if I go into,
Yeah. Like if you're working
Yeah,
with
some
like
of those
someone
things.
regularly, like you could have
could
like a
actually go
local
into the
NAS that like syncs as well, or
Dropbox.
Yeah.
there's some
I was
cool
gonna-
syncing
Media.
options.
I can
I was going to say,
right-click,
there's no way they're getting into the
and this is
media
the setting
storage
down here
business.
that
That's a
lets you
whole other
cache it
thing.
all down. You
It's
can do
a
it by
lot of
folder.
infrastructure.
So it works quite well.
Yeah. I think
So this is how you
Amazon
give everyone a
Cloud
local copy of
services
the
are like
media.
the
And
only
it
way
works
to
quite well,
really
but
do
there is
it
actually a
robustly right
limitation.
now.
Yep.
What if there's not enough space on your local computer?
Oh.
And it's worse for freelancers who are working on multiple projects at the same time. All the media has to be synced before you can open the timeline. So everything has to be downloaded for each user. So the problem is, of course, is if you had like 5 people in a building working on a job, you've actually got to download the data 5 times. So what we really need is a network storage solution designed for film and television. Now we've done that and it's called Blackmagic Cloud Store. It's a very high performance network storage with Dropbox
Oh,
sync.
they are doing it.
But because it's network storage, everybody can share the files on it. But it's also a Dropbox cache, so it's constantly syncing your media. Plus, it includes a bunch of features designed to solve cloud workflows in film and television. So let me show it to you. I'll bring it out.
Yeah. So is this just like a
Oh
utility?
Oh my gosh, they did make a box. They made something box shaped. Oh my gosh.
Here it is.
Oh,
The tower.
Oh.
Yes, that's exactly what I
So as you can
just
see, it
said.
actually uses the same design as our Blackmagic eGPU.
That
It's
is
obviously very different internally. Yeah, we wanted to design a
Oh, I
style that
predicted
sort of
it,
suits a modern
right?
post-production facility.
I thought you were nuts.
So it had to be attractive. Plus, it's important that it's portable. So you
Okay,
can
so
take
this
it
is
to
what they
ship.
made instead of a
But it
camera.
also means to be
Okay.
really quiet because if
It
you're
does
doing
look like
audio
a
work,
trash
you don't
can.
want to hear sound from the fan. But it's important that it needs massive performance. So you can use it with these really big digital film files. It also needs to support sync, so you can distribute media globally to each user. So it actually needs to do a lot of things.
Please have a
It's
built-in Ultra
much more than
Studio in
a
it.
network storage solution.
That
It
might
features
be.
advanced technology. It runs Blackmagic OS, so it's quite intelligent. It uses
Oh my
high-speed
gosh.
M.2 flash memory cards, so it's very fast. Plus, the flash memory cards are configured
Come
in RAID
on.
5, so there's redundancy. M.2 flash memory cards are incredibly reliable, but this is an added level of protection. So
Wow.
let's check out the rear connections. I'll spin it around and show you.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
There it
That's
is there. You can see.
5 10 gig
So you
ports.
see the connectors? Now there's 4 high-speed 10G Ethernet connections built in.
4.
So it actually has a built-in 10G Ethernet switch, so you can plug in 4 separate computers.
Oh,
So it's
to the
great for
computers.
like creating small work groups really quickly. And that really matters when you're on location. Plus, there's an extra 2 1G Ethernet ports for connecting to slower networks. It has 2 USB-C ports. One's for loading files directly, and the other one's for backups. So you could connect a large mechanical hard disk to back
Oh
up
my-
the Blackmagic Cloud Store. Now, there's also a HDMI monitoring output connection, so you can use it for monitoring the status of Blackmagic Cloud Store. There's also at the top a read-only button that lets you lock out any file changes if required. Now, for redundancy, it actually has 2 separate internal power supplies.
How much do you think this is going
So
to
it'll
cost?
keep running if one of the power supplies fails. So let's connect it up so I can
It's,
show you
it's
how it
still
works.
fairly niche
I'm going to say
to
1,200.
need something that legit.
Yeah, you have to be like an actual production
We'll
house.
plug
I
in the
feel like.
power.
Yeah. Who is like committing to the cloud
Yep.
system?
Now, let's connect it to the Mac Studio
mean, not
here,
necessarily.
with its Ethernet.
Yeah.
Like you can use this for any sort of storage if you just want RAD.
I mean, it's
fast
essentially a
Performance computers
NOS
often have
Yeah,
10G
system.
Ethernet. This Mac Studio has 10G Ethernet.
With
but if the
10G
computer
built in and
you're
all
using
sorts of
has
stuff.
1G Ethernet, or
The
it's a laptop
10G
with no
internet is
Ethernet, then you can
ridiculous.
use a Thunderbolt to 10G Ethernet adapter. We have one here. That will give you 10G Ethernet. So let's mount the Blackmagic Cloud Store on this computer.
Oh my gosh.
So just go to the network tab.
Okay,
There it is
so
there.
I wonder if it works
there's the
with
folder.
Windows as well.
There it is.
I
They
That's
probably
all there is
made
to it. Now we can
work
access
with
the
Windows
disk.
as well.
Now, the first version of Blackmagic
Yeah,
Cloud
I'd be
Store uses
blown
guest
away if it
logins,
didn't.
the software that's in it.
Yeah.
That keeps it really simple, but we're going to add some custom logins soon and some software updates so the IT people will be happy. But most people actually have secure local networks, so it's okay for the moment. Doing this makes it really easy to set it up without any technical knowledge. So before we copy some files, I thought it might be a good idea to collect the HDMI monitoring So you can really help you see what's going on when we copy the files. So I'll plug in this HDMI monitor here, and you'll be able to see it. There we go. Now you can see there's actually a lot on this monitor. So let me explain what's on there. So at the top left is the name. It can be customized with the Cloud Store utility software. Below that is the capacity indicator. It shows you how much space has been used. Now below that area is actually the sinks currently operating. Then you have the connected users. You can see my computer's actually connected there. At the bottom of that is the hardware information. It's got the status of the 2 power supplies and things like that.
That's awesome.
And now on the right-hand side is the storage map. Now this really dominates the display. And it shows you
rad.
which areas of the store have information on them. The purple cells actually is where there's data held on the store. Then the cells turn like a light blue when there's data being read. And then the cells turn orange when there's data being written. The size of the cell is actually on the lower left-hand side, and it changes based on the total storage capacity. Now, below the storage map is the data rate graphs. Now, these show the data rates for each of the 4
I can't wait to
10G
see
internet
Linus
ports.
Tech Tips
It also
review on
actually
this.
shows the connection speed.
Yeah.
The connection speed is actually shown on the vertical axis of the
I
graph.
can't wait to get one.
So if the label
I
goes
know.
to 10, then you know that the 10G Ethernet, it's running at the full 10G speed. So there's actually really a lot of information displayed on this monitoring. Anyway, so now let's copy the media folder across to the Cloud Store, and we can actually watch it on the display as it's copying. So I'll do that. Here's my Winter Wonderland folder here. I'll copy it over. So you can see the data rate graph is now showing the data being written. Now the writes are in orange. You can actually see that on the orange cell light up in the storage
is-
map.
Wow, look
It's
how
showing that the
fast
file
that
is being written to the store. Plus, you know, there's a couple of big files on the disk already taking up a
8
lot
gigs
of
a
space.
second.
So we can actually delete those files and watch the storage map change. So that folder's finished being copied. Now let's delete. And if you watch the storage map, if we cut to that, you'll actually see these files when I delete them. You'll see them all disappear. No, that was quick. So sometimes, depending if you've got a lot of files, you can see it actually still, you know, you can actually see them as they're deleted. So it's pretty cool. Now we've updated the relink feature in Davinci Resolve 18, so you can now always relink to a different media folder. And it allows
I
you to
will
switch
say
between
this is
media
going to be
folders,
really
which is really
expensive
important
for
when you want
solid
to change
state
from
drives,
network
though.
storage and
I mean,
local
that's a
storage.
lot.
So my project
wonder
was
how
pointing
it
to the local
scales
storage on this
in
computer,
capacity.
but now I want to change it to
Yeah.
the folder I copied across to the cloud source. So I'll just relink. So let me show you that.
But also, yeah,
So I've still got Davinci running. And I'll go back to my edit.
like you said, with having stuff free and
that's
something to
not much.
offer, like this isn't.
No.
Not
This is
everyone
awesome.
needs
a
this.
Well, I'll actually accept all
hardware
those color grades that have
solution,
changed.
but
It's losing
the
its
software is
rating.
still free. I mean,
Yeah.
like you're
this
not
is the
paying
local
any more
video,
money
so
for
now-
anything but hardware,
I'll relink.
Yeah.
Yep.
which is
I'll
upgradable.
go to the
Yeah.
cloud store.
And
Which is
yeah,
the way
it's
it's
just
done.
like
There's the
if
Winter
you
Wonderland
want,
folder I just copied.
that's the rad stuff about all their hardware.
Relink.
It's like if you
There it
want
is.
the best experience in their
So
free
now the project
software,
we use the folder
they
on the
have
Cloud
hardware.
Store. And if you
Yep,
actually watch
yep.
the monitor, you can see it reading from the Cloud Store. So let me shuttle the timeline up and down a bit and I'll show you. So you can see it there.
Oh
So you
my
can see the
god!
blue one. You can see
That's
the
cool.
cell lighting up. That's Davinci reading the media file on the Cloud Store. And you can also see the data rate graph showing the Ethernet ports transferring data. So all the users opening this project can now relink to the Cloud Store media. So no one really needs to use any space on their local computers. But if we really want to sync the media globally, we can do this by syncing to Dropbox. So when I had the colorist grade my shots, they already had my media, and we did that manually. But the Cloud Store can also do that for you. So it only needs to connect to a Dropbox so it can sync. Once the Cloud Store syncs to Dropbox, it's possible for other Cloud Stores to sync to the same Dropbox as well. Now we create a global media sync. So anyone sharing
Wow.
the project only needs to have their Cloud Store synced. And then everyone has a copy of the media. But, you know, of course, be careful. If you delete a clip, it'll delete everywhere. So make sure you back up your camera originals before you do that. So let's set up a sync on the Cloud Store. It's easy, and we just need to create a sync in the Blackmagic Cloud utility. So let's do that now. So, but actually
This
first,
is
before I do that, I
so
should actually
smart
make sure that the Cloud Store is
for-
connected to the internet. So let's do that. So I have
This just
the
made
internet
like
on a
Adobe
separate table.
completely like
I'll
shit
plug
their
that in.
pants.
There is now the Cloud Store can talk directly to Dropbox servers on the internet. Next, we need to launch the Blackmagic Cloud Setup utility.
Man, when
Which I'll
they
do
rolled
that.
out their integration with like the Blackmagic thing earlier,
These utilities used
that
for
was just,
changing
like,
settings.
sort of like
there's
their
network
lightweight
settings
frame
in here
IO.
and time and
It's
date.
wild that it
and
led
things
to
like
this
that. But
because
let's
this
select the
is
sync tab.
this is much cooler.
Oh, for
This is-
sure.
Now, the first
And
step is to
also,
log
this
into
is also
Dropbox, into your Dropbox
Avid
account.
is like
But to save time, I've
king
already
for
logged in my Dropbox
collaboration.
account, so we don't need to do that.
This
But
is
we do
just
need to add a sync,
making
so
it
let's
so
do
that-
that now.
I wonder how many studios
There's
are going
that.
to move over to
So we need a
this.
name for the sync, and we also need to select the Dropbox folder and the Cloud Store folder. Now, I've already got a media. I've already got the media on my Dropbox account, so I can just select the folder, and it should be pretty easy to do. So
Yeah, talk about like eliminating friction. If you're doing this like
we'll go here and-
repetitively and all this stuff, and you get it
Is
set
that
up
with
this
the
way,
Wonderland?
then like you just like
No,
click a
the
button to
Dropbox
share a
account.
project, and it
there it is.
automatically shares all the
That's the only
footage
thing
and
I've got on
stuff. And
you can also select which direction you want to do. You can allow a team
just
to
had
read
to
the
do
files but
quick
not
math,
change anything, and
but,
that's important if you've got
9
camera originals
and a
like
half
these.
hours of
But in my
12K
case, we'll just allow a
footage in
two-way sync. So any
5:1
files,
Blackmagic
any new
Cloud,
files
which
will be
gets
synced
stored on that
automatically.
thing.
It also means that
Jeez.
Cloud will automatically get those new files when we created them. So now I've created the sync, and you can see actually on the monitor that sync's been created. Plus, it's actually checking the Dropbox and uploading any files.
So if-
now, there is one file missing on Dropbox, so it's uploading that file now. Now, any files
That
added
is
to this
so helpful
Blackmagic Cloud
because you
store
don't have
sync
to
to
keep up with
Dropbox,
it. It keeps up with
and
it
then they'll
for
sync
you as
down
the
to other
files
cloud
are.
stores.
That's
So everybody has a copy of the media. Now it constantly syncs. You don't really need to do anything. And we're going to obviously expand to other sync services soon. Like we've got Google Drive support almost complete. That'll update. Will ship in a few weeks. We didn't quite make
yes.
ship date on these things, but we're getting really close.
It's
So it's all
okay,
exciting, but there is actually an issue with sync. If you don't have an extremely fast internet connection, then the sync can be slow. I did a multicam video with 7 cameras and had a terabyte of media. So the data can build up really quickly, and it could take a long time to upload. So what can we do? Well, the solution is to actually use proxies. However, to make it work, we really had to redesign how Davinci handled proxies. That's because the storage and Davinci both need to know how to use them. And if we don't have a consistent way to handle proxies, then everything just gets confusing. So in Davinci Resolve 18, there's a whole new way, there's a whole new proxy workflow built in.
Rad.
We can automatically render proxies with a new proxy generator app. Proxies are now stored in a folder within the media, but you can actually extract them to a separate folder for offline work. But proxies will now act as a H2 substitute for the original media files. They're really easy to locate because they're always stored in a folder called proxies. And because proxies are now predictable, they become much more powerful. Now we've created a new tool called Blackmagic Proxy Generator. It's included free with Davinci Resolve Studio, and it's installed in the applications folder. So let me show it to you.
So a studio
that.
feature.
Yeah.
There it is.
Auto
there.
proxies.
Studio's
that
only
is-
$300. It's
Yeah,
so
See, it's
cheap
very
to buy.
simple. It just watches folders and creates proxies automatically.
Yeah,
So
and
let's
if
add
you're
a watch
paying
folder.
someone else to
And I'll
edit
do
or
both
color,
the media
you can
folder and the
afford
whole
it.
disk.
Yeah.
So there's
And if you get rid of Adobe
Yeah,
is
you can afford a lot of
$600 for a year, so half a
Yep.
year.
I'll add the whole disk.
Especially if you have to buy more licenses for everyone on your
Just
team.
means it'll process the Winter Wonderland first, as it's first in the list, and it'll process the it processes the folders in list order. And you can actually click and rearrange a list. Let me show you that.
Auto proxy is
Volume. So you
That's-
can
that-
rechange.
This on top of like remote stuff, like there will be wild use cases of like someone on set
You can
and
also
their
select the
proxies
proxy
get
format.
instantly sent
So you can
wherever.
select half resolution
Yep.
H.264, or you can actually select some full resolution HD formats in H.264.
There'll be like
H.265
daily
and ProRes
studios
formats.
that pop up
Let's
now
select
that
full
can just
HD
work
resolution
anywhere in the
H.264
world.
proxies and then
because
start
this
the
is
app.
so automated.
Which
like
is
this
that one there, which is
this
already
what,
selected.
I mean, really, what we all wanted for this kind of thing. I just didn't expect Blackmagic to be the ones to do this.
I didn't
But be
expect-
careful
yeah,
if you
this is
change
above
proxy
and beyond,
formats, of
for
course.
sure.
If you change to a different format, it'll recreate all the proxies in that format. So you can see now it's checking the disk and then it's starting to render the proxies. So what's exciting is you can speed up the proxy rendering by running multiple copies of the proxy generator at the same time. So each computer could have a copy and then you could just run them all at the same time. So it basically creates an instant render farm for proxies. And once the proxies are finished rendering, it just keeps watching for any new media files. If any new media files appear,
Oh my
it'll
gosh,
automatically
that
generate
is
the proxies
so
for them.
helpful.
And
Wait,
then this
did
cloud
that say
store
the
will,
different
sync them
computers
automatically. And in fact, if you can look,
Yeah, it just
there
keeps
is
an eye
there.
out for the files and
If you
just
look,
auto
you can
does
see
it.
it's starting to sync the proxies as they're being generated. So they've started syncing now. And and the cloud store will sync proxies before any other file type. So this means you could move like a big job anywhere in the world in 15 minutes or so. That's because the proxies are only a few gigabytes, so they copy very quickly, even on standard internet connections.
So will this be enough
Now,
of like
you can
a
actually also
product
set the cloud store to transfer proxies
for
only,
the
which means
base
freelancers don't need to use original media files. They can
cloud
just work with
functionality to
proxies.
stay free?
Now, the proxies I've generated here
I
are starting to
think
sync automatically
so.
to Dropbox, which means they're now syncing down to other cloud stores. So let's check out how we can use them in Davinci Resolve 18.
He still's
Now,
not
because
giving us a price
proxies
yet.
are created in a predictable way, they're much more useful. It
comes
allows
free
Davinci
with the
Resolve
new
18 to
box
handle
cinema
proxies
camera.
automatically because the proxies are built right into the
You press
workflow
this
now.
button and
there's a
you
new
can
proxy
attach a
menu
lens
that
to the top
shows,
of it,
that's
and
where you
it-
can select the
They're
proxy.
going to replace
So let me show
camera
you
to
that.
cloud with built-in wireless and proxies automatically coming from the camera.
That would be sick. Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome.
And basically, Frame.io. Like the problem is, I know someone who
There
works
is
for
that.
Blackmagic
That's
because
the
I went to
question.
work for Frame.io.
So you can select the preferred proxies.
Will
So
that
DaVinci
be a
will
big
use the
upcoming
proxies that
feature
have been
in their
rendered by the proxy
cameras?
generator.
Is like
So I'll show
that
you.
live proxy generation?
For proxies.
Yes.
Very well.
Or if you
could
select
be.
the preferred camera originals, then it'll use the camera originals.
That would be awesome because that would make the workflow so fast when you're editing for clients because you just send it
does
to
it
your
automatically.
like an
It's so
assistant
simple to
editor
use.
to get it.
Plus, you get a
right-
purple line in the timeline if there's a proxy file but no camera original. And that's important, as sometimes you might be editing with proxies, but you don't have the originals. So it makes it really easy to find the shots that you don't have any originals. When you work as a group, multiple people could be adding media to projects. So this helps you find any originals that might be missing. There's also a setting to turn the proxies off. And if you turn the proxies off and don't have an original, then the clip will be shown offline because the proxy's off, so it's not available. Plus, in Davinci Resolve 18, we can use the timeline indicator to show offline clips as well, so that helps. Offline clips will be shown with a red line. But what really matters here is that proxies files are a substitute for the original media file, and then Davinci manages them all automatically. So it's nice, but what happens if we want to do an offline workflow? For example, you want to travel and you want to take the proxies with you on a laptop. Your proxies are much smaller, so you can fit them on a lot of jobs on your computer. But if the proxies are stored in all the folders with the original files, how do we get them out? Well, that's easy. The proxy generator has an extract proxies function. So I'll show you that to you.
I'm sorry.
I'll go back to the proxy generator.
How do you
Now,
not
first,
love
before I do
Blackmagic?
that, I have to rename my proxy folder that I originally had, my original proxy folder on the desktop. If I don't do that, it'll just
They've literally
merge the
thought of
proxies
everything
into that
with
folder,
this.
which
I
can be
mean-
useful, but you don't actually want to do that because, in this demonstration here, because I want
This
to take
is
my
I
what
love
proxies
that
into a
they-
separate folder.
I love
so I
that
can
they
take them and
still
work
took the
offline.
time
So
for their little
let me
jog
rename that
shuttle
first.
HyperDeck thing.
They always do that.
Yeah.
There we go. Now, first we have to stop the app, which we've done there. So now it's stopped, and now we can select the Winter Wonderland folder and extract the proxies. There it is there. And you can see there's the extract proxies there. So we'll do it on the desktop.
Let's see how
There's
fast
done.
that's so fast.
You can see them there on the
wonder if you could-
desktop. So let's compare the proxies to the originals. So I can do this just by getting info. So you can see there the originals are 18 gigabytes, but the proxies are only around 350 megabytes. So it's so tiny. You can fit a lot of jobs in your laptop by using proxies. And it'll also extract like audio, images, and other stuff that's in the media folder. The only thing missing will actually be the camera original files. The whole folder structure is intact, and the proxies are still in the proxy folders. And Davinci Resolve will just treat them the same as the original, so it just works. Each camera original has a proxy file that works as a stand-in for the original. So now I can just take this computer away and work remotely. So overall, I think this is a much better way to handle proxies now. But the big advantage is that proxies are now predictable, so other products can use them. That's why they work so well in Davinci Resolve. There's rules now on how proxies work. It's also the key to how the cloud store can recognize proxies and sync them first. Or you can select the cloud store to sync only proxies, which is good. So often you don't need the originals. Like if you're doing work such as color correction, you can just use the proxies. In the past, people have spent a lot of time managing proxies. Now you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to worry about anything because you just push a button in the proxy generator, and it'll make sure they're all okay. However, that's not all we can do with proxies. Remember the HyperDeck Shuttle that we talked about before? Well, we are working on a new software update for it. It'll let you play back from the cloud store. Now, what's really exciting about this is that the proxy files let you do this. It's because it's a HD deck, it'll play back HD files. But with a proxy generator, it'll convert all the media to HD proxies. Even high-resolution 12K digital film files, everything just gets converted to HD proxies. And plus, all the proxies are in proxy folders, so it's consistent and it's predictable. So this means the HyperDeck Shuttle HD can find and play the proxies. It totally transforms the HyperDeck Shuttle into a media browser. The trick is the proxy generator. It does all the hard work. Now, the proxy generator will render to H.264 main profile files or ProRes 422 files, and both those formats can be played back with the HyperDeck Shuttle HD. So to make this work, we've been developing some new software for HyperDeck Shuttle. It allows playback from network storage, and we've also added the source tape feature for Davinci Resolve's cut page. So this means we can actually play through the whole disk and navigate up and down folders. So let me show you how this works. I've got a HyperDeck Shuttle HD running this new software here. There it is here. So it looks the same, obviously.
So you can just like
So let's
scrub
plug it in.
through your
What I'll do
entire
is I'll
network attached
Get rid of
storage.
this guy. I'll move this out of the way.
So of
Yeah, I
course,
am
they
questioning
had to
everything in
introduce
the camera
that
channel.
first.
Yeah.
So I'll move
I am questioning
cloud store over a
everything.
little.
Dang it.
Gives us a little bit more space. There it is there. And we'll plug in the HDMI from the monitoring into the cloud store. Sorry, into the HyperDeck Shuttle. From the cloud store into the HyperDeck Shuttle. So now let's plug the HyperDeck Shuttle into the Ethernet so I can access this cloud store. So I've got a Ethernet cable here.
Wow. I can't
These
believe
Ethernet
it's
cables are so stiff.
so much better than I thought.
Now what we need to do
This is beyond. I mean, we thought cloud, but we didn't.
is go into
think,
the
like,
menus because we need to
this.
select the network storage. So we just go into the menu
I mean, they really
There it
are
is there.
trying to take on
and we can scroll
the
along.
entire industry.
There it is there. We can go down there.
I
can see the
wonder now
Blackmagic
if
Cloud
we're going
store.
to
So
see a
let's
camera
select it.
release at NAB.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think
Probably.
yeah.
So now we can play
It's
back
got to be a
direct from the
camera
cloud
that's
store.
going to work with all of
Work
this
with
new
this. That's
stuff.
what I'm
There
kind
it
of
is.
thinking.
Now it's actually playing back the proxies, not the camera original media. With such a big disk, how do you navigate? And we also have a solution to that. When you're in scroll, it'll display a file path. It's a path to the file you're viewing, so let's try it out. So if I push scroll, you can see it there. You can see the file path. Now when I scroll, you can see the files and they're encoding the files where they're enclosing folders. So you can see me there. I'll scroll down a bit so you can
That's
see the
slick.
folder change. There it is there, rides and
That
people and things like that. One thing that's important actually is I've set the default television standard in the menu. In my case, I shoot everything at 24 frames a second, so I just select the default video standard at 1080p 24. Then when you select shuttle, it just flattens everything in that type, in that frame rate. It'll flatten everything on the cloud store alphabetically, like folders alphabetically. All the content in the cloud store has been turned into just one big continuous timeline, but you can also navigate down into folders. So I can scroll along and look at the media I'm interested in, and then if I press scroll again, it'll go down one folder level. So let's do that.
oh my gosh.
That's
So let's have a look
that's
for
even
folder
like
here,
the best
rides.
way, to
So if I
sort
push
through
Scroll again. You can see the folder.
ton of
highlight
footage
white.
in
I'll do it again
general.
'cause I actually want to select
just
the
clicking down through
rides
folders
folder.
and stuff.
Now the scroll will be limited to that
Well,
folder
even if
only.
you want to know
But if you
what's
want to navigate
stored
back up,
on
you
the
press
device,
click.
you don't have to
let
plug
me
it into
just
the
scroll
computer.
down
You can
here.
actually just
So now
use
it's limited
this
to the rides
solution.
folder only. That's all the way one way, all the way the other.
Wow, so nice.
And if I press clip, I go back up to the higher level. See, there I am. So now I'm back into the whole lot. So back to everything. So you can see it's really nice and it's very easy to use. So this new HyperDeck Shuttle software will be available free of charge, and I think it'd probably ship in a month or two. We wanted to really focus on shipping the HyperDeck Shuttle first, and then we'll continue to work on this software update. Plus, with the new file browsing, it'll also work with the media cards and USB disks, which I think will be really nice. So it's quite a big update, and I think it'll be very exciting. Okay, so now let's talk about what happens if you build a large facility. Now, I really wanted to show you how fast the Blackmagic Cloud Store is, and it's pretty important because this is designed for high-end film and television work, so it has to handle these workflows. So, let's add a lot of uses to this cloud store. Actually, first, let me connect the HDMI back so you can see what's going on.
Also, how is
And
all
yeah,
of
there it is.
Resolve
And now we can
18
get the monitor
bonus
back
to
up.
this?
I don't know. We haven't
Okay.
even talked really about
So to
that, have we?
demonstrate performance, what we've done is we've set up the Blackmagic design
They've barely
training
gone
booth in
into the
studio.
new features
And
of
we can use it to
Resolve
simulate
18.
adding a lot of users to the cloud store. So let's pan the cameras over and you can check it out. There's everyone's over
Oh.
here. Hi, everyone. So you can see it's the whole training booth that we normally use at trade shows. Now, all these computers are actually connected to an Ethernet switch. So now I need to plug that switch
think
into
this
the
is at
cloud store.
NAB?
So let's do that now. Here's
Oh,
the cable.
So
Unplug that.
a week early?
Well, I mean,
Look-
they're probably already there.
Okay, so now they're all connected to this Blackmagic
they're
Cloud
setting
store.
up, but they
And
haven't
each
gotten
computer has a
that
Thunderbolt
kind
to
of
10G
setup
Ethernet
yet.
adapter. So there's 12 computers in total. And now we'll get everyone to connect to the cloud store. So can everyone connect to the cloud store? We should be able to watch it on the monitoring output. You can see everyone connecting. Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
So the next step is I need to share my project with everyone so they can actually work on it. And that's easy. We did it
They're
before
all
the
going
freelance
into one
cars. We just
project?
add their Blackmagic Cloud IDs. And I'll show you how to do that. But I do have a lot of people here. So what I'll do is I'll paste in a list of Blackmagic Cloud IDs all at once. I have all the IDs in a text document. So let me show you. I'll quit these and close these.
This is
And I have them all here.
so well thought through. Like,
You can
it's
also do
so
a column list if
comprehensive.
you're doing it from like an email. I can do it from within Davinci as well. So I can go to the project window. And,
Yeah, another camera channel. Great for
Oops,
schools and
wrong
teaching
thing.
editing. Absolutely. This is
Yeah.
All I do is go into the info.
Well, yeah, kids are going to learn
Do it from
Resolve for editing,
can
and
share,
then
and I can just paste all the
that's what
lists in.
studios are going to have to be using.
There it is.
I hope there's some
I'll,
updates to the
add them all. So you can see there.
I
I've
need
got
to
a lot of
really look
users,
into
a lot
this
of
now and
shared
see if I
users
can
now.
actually
It's a
like
big team.
adapt
So
to
now let's
it.
get back to everybody and see if they can
They're
open
going to
up
have
my
new
project.
training videos for sure.
Check it out.
So
now.
if everyone can select the cloud tab on their
gonna-
computers, you should see my projects visible to you. And if everyone can open up my job, it'd be great. Like some people are starting up DaVinci.
Oh my
There you
gosh.
should see it. So there shouldn't be any need to relink because I did that on my Mac Studio over here before. So the media will automatically be pointing to the same storage. So the media should just appear and the timelines should just come up. Only people with different storage off-site would need to relink because DaVinci Resolve will track the storage for each person. But in our case, everyone's using the same cloud store. Now, before we start, also, if everyone could check set camera originals in the proxy menu, really to make this a good test, we want to really load up the network by using camera original files. So if everyone could open and
I love
play
it
my
so
timeline,
much.
that'd be great.
It's so cool.
Not only
Now
is
each
this
user
great,
has
but
my
like, think
timeline
about
playing
each of
with the
those
shared
people
media,
being a
and we're all working
VFX
together.
person
The
working
cloud
on
store
a
has enough
specific
speed to
shot
everyone to
for the
work at the
movie.
same
So
time.
like say you have
But what if my
one
production
day,
company
each
also has a
person
studio with
working on
cameras?
one shot, you're
It'd be
getting
great to be able
10
to record
shots
multi-cam in the
done
cloud
in a
store.
day.
Imagine having
And
a
like
studio
as
like
an
constant
editor,
shooting
you're
while the
still
team's
cutting the
doing
rest of the movie,
post-production
but at the
all
end
at
of
the
the
same
day, with
time,
the director
all
coming
using a single
back
cloud
after
store.
doing whatever
This will
meetings
replace
with the
those really big,
studio,
expensive
they have
SAN
to sit
network
down and
systems
see,
used behind
oh,
the
here are all the
facilities.
VFX
Yeah,
shots
central
that
storage
have
is a
been
really extremely
completed,
fast
and
way to
here are
work,
all
but
the
these SAN-based
Yep,
systems
yep.
are mechanical
This
hardware,
is
edits
they're very
that have
incredible.
been
expensive, and they require constant
and
maintenance. So the
color work
Blackmagic
done at the
Cloud
same
Store
time,
really is a
and sound
nice way to
work,
get this
and
sort
all
of SAN
over.
workflow without all the SAN problems. But we are still connected to a cloud store over Ethernet, and networks are chaotic and unpredictable. So if we want reliable recordings, we really need to consider network issues. You know, the network could be interrupted if there's a heavy load, or the network could even fail right in the middle of a job. So we really need to deal with that. And so we need protection for live recording, as it cannot go wrong. Luckily, our HyperDeck Extreme product has a cache feature, plus it has high-speed 10G Ethernet as well. So what this means is that we can use a HyperDeck Extreme to record each camera into the cloud store. Now, we've been working on a software update for HyperDeck Extreme to enable recording into the Blackmagic Cloud Store. Then if you add an M.2 flash memory card, you can continue to record even if the network goes down. And this will give you reliable multi-cam recordings. So behind us over here, I've got 9 HyperDeck Extremes that simulate a 9-camera studio. Now, these decks are all connected to a 10G Ethernet switch. So let's plug that switch with all the HyperDecks into the cloud store. And this Ethernet cable is what's connected to all the HyperDecks. So we'll plug that in. So there it is.
It's gonna light up like a
Now there's a
Christmas
new
tree.
setting for connecting to storage, and lets you select the cloud store. Plus you can also select which folder to record into. Now the new menu is located in the storage page, and let me show that to you. It's over here. So the menu here, this is the new menu. See, there it is there, and there's a network button. You can see the cloud store, and you can even go into the folders and select the folder, and there it is. Now it's connected.
Wow.
So that's the new menu.
So
So
brilliant.
every HyperDeck here also has a cache added, and I can display a slide if the guys can
Yeah,
get the slide
so
showing you where the
every,
cache
like,
is. It's on the bottom of the
multicam
HyperDeck.
shoot
And you just insert the card in there.
Functionally
and there's a
recording
heatsink
to the
gasket
cloud
put
that
on
can
it to
instantly sync
to
anywhere
thermally
else.
cool it.
Yep.
It's not very difficult to install.
Camera
Now,
to
we've actually
cloud is
installed a
definitely
2
coming here
terabyte
soon,
M.2
then.
flash memory card
This is
into
too
each deck.
close to it.
You can
Like,
see it on the
it's coming.
cache indicator if you can get a close up there. That's hours of cache on each deck. It's probably much bigger than we really needed. Now we've connected all the remote controls together as well, so they're all linked. So that means when I press record on the controller, all the decks will go and record together. So let's do that. I'll press record. There they go. So now they're all recording.
Let's see how the Christmas
Now
tree
we're
looks
recording
now.
all the HyperDecks into the
Lit
Blackmagic
up.
Cloud Store, and they're all recording a pretty high data rate actually. It's Ultra HD 2160p 5904 in ProRes. And you can see
Jeez.
if you look, you can see it's a lot of data being recorded. You can see the Ethernet data graph showing the data being written. And now, of course, we've got everyone playing and using the videos playing back as well. You can see the storage map where the HyperDecks are recording. You can actually see it where each HyperDeck's
This is so
recording.
great
If you
for
look at the
studio
HyperDeck's
work
caches,
that's
you can
like
see
doing
them
live
working
broadcasts. It needs to
over
grab
here.
stuff immediately.
So we can
I mean,
stop
you just
recording
start
now, and you'll see
working
the
on it.
cache
That's-
empty out. It doesn't take very long because the network's so fast. So I'll stop recording now. You can see there's the cache is still being written out. Yeah, we actually write through the caches, so there's always a little bit of data on the caches.
How is
So
this
if you
thing
look at
not
the
like
Ethernet graph,
breaking?
there's still some data remaining to be written, but it's a very robust
Blackmagic.
setup.
That's why.
So now the recording's complete, and there it is. The graph's dropped off because it's finished emptying out the caches. So now the recording's complete. Let's edit the video. We can do this because we've recorded directly into the shared storage, and all these computers can access the recordings. So I can go to my computer over here, and we can add what we just recorded into the timeline. So let's do that. We'll create a new Davinci project.
I mean,
There it is. And we'll load the media in. And of course
the
it's
fact
on
that
the
it's like
cloud store.
that stable, it can handle like all of that, like people editing, like how many editors? Like 25, 30 editors
asked me to change
and
the format
8
'cause this is
cameras filming it. So
59:4.
like that's
There it is.
ridiculous.
That's cool.
Look
So
at
let's
that.
lay down
There
one of
it
the
is.
tracks in the timeline. Because it's multicam, we can then go into the sync bin. So let's do that. So I'll get the wide shot. There it is there. Actually, I'll do it as an edit.
I just want to watch Linus Tech Tips try to like
Drop
figure out how
down.
to
There it is
blow
in the
this up.
timeline.
Like,
Now I can go into the sync bin, and you can see it's synchronized all those recordings together. So it's cool. And then, we can do all
So
the
it's
angles that
cool.
are recorded. They're all in sync. They have the same time code. We can scroll up and down, add a cutaway. It's like if we wanted to add a cutaway, we can just do that. There it is there. And it's all in sync. So really anyone here can work with this media. Everyone can work on the same timeline. If we want to get the studio, like if we want to get this to a studio offsite, then we can create proxies. So let's create proxies for the new recording. Now remember how I said before it's possible to run more than one copy of the proxy journal? generator. Let's ask the training booth team to actually do this, and we can show you. So can everybody run the proxy generator?
Yeah.
And we'll
so
select,
off of
H64,
network
which is the
storage,
second item
they'll generate
on the list.
proxies
Get ready to
from different
do it.
computers, upload them back
And,
to storage.
Is everyone ready to start?
That's just
And you
insane.
can see what it looks like.
That it can handle
everyone ready
that
to go?
is
Okay,
And
go
it
for
doesn't like, yeah, it
So
keeps
you can
track
see,
of
there it is.
what's.
Look at that. Look, if you look at the data rate
Wow.
graph, you can see how fast it really is. It's
yeah.
really
Someone
getting
says
the
Linus
storage
Tech Tips
hard.
will drop it before you
And you can
plug
see it
in.
on the monitoring there.
100%
So it's
true.
literally the maximum speed. Each iMac is actually processing a different HyperDeck file. They're all working at the same time, but on different clips. It's like an instant render farm for proxies. And you can see that it's so fast, it's completely saturating the 10G connection from the studio to the cloud store. So let's come back to the cloud store and talk about that. You can see how powerful it really is. It's got extremely high
yeah.
performance. It's got the 10G Ethernet switch built in.
Does the price
handles
run up?
Dropbox sync, so you can share media globally. It automatically handles syncing proxies first. You can move jobs around the world really fast. It's an elegant design and it's very quiet. Means it's really perfect for television use, and it's also got the RAID 5 redundancy. It has dual redundant power supplies. It's got the nice monitoring output.
is that?
You can see the using the status on a simple TV monitor. So we think it's going to really help people. So the Blackmagic Cloud Store will ship in about a month or so. We're still completing some of the work, but we needed to announce it so we can get it out in beta testing. We also plan on a number of software updates soon. Like we'd like to be able to set the proxy sync to be set for each separate sync. At the moment, it's on the whole cloud store. Also, manual priority of the sync order will be really good. So when you add a multiple syncs, being able to reorder them. A bit like how the proxy generator does it. So there's a few things we can add. Of course, customize user login. So there's a lot more we can really do. So initially, there'll be 3 models of the Blackmagic Cloud Store. There'll be a 20 terabyte, an 80 terabyte, and a 320 terabyte model. And that's the usable space. In reality, there's actually a fair bit of extra storage because of the RAID protection. So with these sizes, you can see that the Blackmagic Cloud Store is actually a high-end product. It's really designed for the larger facilities. You know, the 20 terabyte model will be priced at $9,595.
Yeah,
And the
that
80
makes sense.
terabyte model will be priced at $29,995. And the 320 terabyte model will be build to order, so we'll quote prices in that when it's ordered. Of course, the price
I
is
mean,
actually
it makes
defined by the
sense.
high cost of the
Yeah, 6
solid
days
state
worth of
use.
12K footage for
At
that
these large
320.
capacities, it's quite a high
Solid
storage
state drive
solution.
is not cheap.
So it's extremely
storage right
powerful,
now.
No,
but
it's
we
not.
did think about smaller companies who don't
I
need all
can't
that.
afford the 10,000
plus
right
freelancers
now.
who are working from home or
But
sort of small offices who
$10,000
don't
for
need all
that
this power.
capacity.
So
I
to
mean,
solve
first
this
of
problem,
all,
we
like,
actually have
even
another
for
more
me, that
affordable
could
model.
work.
So it's called Blackmagic Cloud Store Mini. Let me bring it out and
What?
I'll show you.
What?
Actually, I'll let's get space here.
Okay, now we know what they were working on. Like, good lord.
Oh my word! I can't believe.
They're running out of
There you
room
see
on
it.
the desk.
As you can see, it's half rack width. That means you can use a
Wow.
Teranex Mini rack shelf to rack mount 2 of them.
Wow.
Eight
It has 8
terabytes actually
terabytes of
nice.
high-speed flash storage and a RAID
Nice.
0 configuration. Let's check out the connections.
So that's probably the
You
one
can
I'll
see
look
there's
at.
a
Yeah.
10G Ethernet port, so it's still very fast. But it also has a 1G Ethernet port for connecting to your existing network. It's got like a switch in it. That means you can use it on high-speed
Jeez.
regular
Okay,
networks
I'm
at the
gonna have to
same
buy
time.
this one.
Workstations connect via the 10G port for the highest speed, but everyone else can connect via the 1G port. It also has a USB port. Now, the USB allows an interesting feature. Modern laptops don't actually have Ethernet because they're so thin. So we built the Ethernet dongle, those USB Internet dongles, we built it into the Cloud Store Mini. This means you don't need one of those USB dongles. You can just plug the USB cable from your computer directly into the Cloud Store Mini. The USB port's actually a network port when it's connected to a computer. So it's fantastic if you just want to access some files quickly. Now, it also has that
The
HDMI monitoring
functionality.
output. It has the same monitoring as the bigger Cloud Store. So let's plug it in and we'll check it out.
Yeah,
around.
let's check.
So we'll plug in the power first.
We think this one is like maybe 3,000, 4,000.
I don't know.
This one's going to be closer
Got
to
which
like the
cable I was using
2,000
for a sec.
range I was saying.
There it
Maybe.
is, there's the power. And we're
I mean,
good
I
there.
would buy this. You
And
could
now
buy
we'll
this
plug in
for
the
multiple
computer,
different
yeah.
contractors
That,
you work with
'cause I wanna
to
copy
work
the
on the
media
same
folder.
files.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like especially smaller
Okay.
like
So
contract.
and
like
I'll plug in the
contractor
HDMI monitor as
freelancers.
well so you can see it. Okay. So you can see the monitoring output looks very similar. So let's copy our media folder. But I'll need to
Wow.
get rid of the old proxy folder first, and I can actually rename that back again. Okay, so we'll mount the disk and we'll copy it over. There we are. Okay, let's copy our media folder across. There it goes. So you can see it's very fast. You can see the monitoring output. It also has the same sync features. So while
fast.
it's not as
Just doing
fast as the
10
Cloud
gigs a
Store,
second,
it is
yeah.
very fast. But what we'll do is we'll check out the speed with the training booth computers. Now I only have a single 10G Ethernet port here, so I'll unplug my computer and I'll plug it across to the training booth. But the good thing is that we've already copied the file. So let's plug the training booth into the 10G Ethernet. So I'll unplug this and plug it back. Here's my training booth.
Is this going to like catch on fire?
Okay, so now I'll ask the team if they can connect to the Cloud Store Mini. So if you guys could switch your, mount the Cloud Store Mini, and we can get everybody connected up. We should see them connecting actually as well. And we'll also need to switch the Davinci timeline across to the Cloud Store Mini. So once everybody's connected, I guess if they can relink the timeline. Now we have the same shared project here using the same media on the Cloud Store Mini. So once everyone's relinked, they should be able to start playing back the timeline. There you go. So all these computers are playing from the single Cloud Store Mini. You can see it's still very fast. I don't really have time to plug in the HyperDecks behind me, but that also works fine.
And that's
so
source
the
footage,
Blackmagic
right?
Cloud Store is, Mini is very powerful.
yeah.
I think that was the
It's
source
extremely high
footage,
performance.
Yeah, he's
It's got
saying
the
they're
10G
using, they're not
port.
using
It
proxies.
has the Dropbox sync, so you can share
That
your
is
media globally.
insane.
It also supports the proxy workflow.
Where we at?
And even though it's rack mount, it's also very quiet. Yeah, cooling's quite important with flash memory because it slows down when it's heavily used. The memory chips actually heat up when the data rate slows down. So Blackmagic Cloud Store Mini will actively cool the memory core to maintain performance like the Cloud Store does. Now the HDMI output, it's got that for the monitoring. So it's got this really nice, it's a really nice model. It's
Seriously,
powerful
that
and
will
it's
be
affordable.
enough for so
So the
many
Blackmagic
people.
Cloud Store Mini is actually available now.
I know.
Initially,
I mean,
it'll be a single 8
I'm-
terabyte model.
I'm sold.
It'll
I'll
be
probably
priced
buy
at
that.
$2,995. Again, the price is set by the cost of the flash memory, but it did start us thinking about the cost of flash memory. What if we did a model that didn't have any memory at all? A model that would use the disk you already have. So we've created that model, and it's a bit different to the cloud stores. What it does, it transforms any USB-C disk into a network disk. And it's also a Dropbox cache because it has the sync features. But because you're adding the USB disk to the network, everyone can access it. So you don't need to copy files. The disk itself is actually on the network. Now the name of the new model is called Blackmagic Cloud Pod, and let me show it to you. I'll bring it out. In fact, I'll have to make a bit of space here.
What are they? How? How did?
They're just going to keep
They
pulling
don't
crap
sleep.
out.
There it is there. You can
Jeez.
see it's quite small. It has all the network electronics built in. It
Yeah.
also has an access indicator across the front so you can see when it's active. So let me show you the connections. They're on the back here. So you can see it's got the high-speed 10G Ethernet port, so
And
it's
look,
really
I'm going
quite
to connect
fast.
this. I'm going to connect
There's actually
all
two
the
USB
computers
ports for
too.
connecting disks, so it supports two separate disks at the same time. It also supports most USB-C disks. Maybe there's some of the really high-powered ones that won't support, but pretty much all disks. Basically, any disk that works with our cameras. It also supports USB disk arrays that have a hardware RAID chip. It has the same HDMI monitoring outputs. You can see the storage map, connected users, Dropbox syncs, all that stuff. It also has a 12-volt DC power connection, and it includes a power supply. So let's plug it in. So I'll bring it around.
Yeah. So any
So I'll plug in the power
USB-C
first. I'll use the
storage
power from the,
you plug in, it's got
HyperDeck.
all the benefits of.
here
That
it
is
Yeah.
There's no
I mean-
reason they had to make that.
no.
That's-
I mean, they really are helping.
power,
Like
and I'll
out
plug
of
in the
everything,
Ethernet.
they're really helping out every
So I'll
kind
plug
of,
in
like
my Ethernet.
They're
consumer they
giving
have.
everyone the option to move over to
Yeah.
this system at
Okay,
a slow
so,
rate with
let's
lower
plug in some
cost
monitoring so we can
items,
see
and
what's
then
going
move
on,
up
'cause
to
that was
the
cool.
higher tiers when they need to.
That I mean, this is
You
ridiculous.
should see that come up. There it is there. So you can see there's no storage because there's no disk plugged in. So we need to plug in a USB disk. So let's do that. Let's
I love his
pretend I've got a disk
explanations
here.
for things.
Let's pretend this disk just came back from a shoot and it was unplugged from a camera and I need to share it with the whole team. So we'll plug that in.
I mean, the technical achievement that this is
Now we
probably
can access
crazier
this
than
disk
what we
across
would
the
have gotten with a
network.
new camera.
So you can see there it's appeared on the storage on the monitor output. So let's mount it on the network. There it is there. There it is. So now anyone can access this disk. So let's load a clip. There it goes there. So you can see the activity indicator on the front. There it is there, it lights up. You can see that when you're scrolling. I can also add Dropbox syncs if I need to, and I can run the Blackmagic proxy generator to generate proxies for this disk because it just came back from a shoot. So let's actually do that. So what I'll do is I'll close that window, I'll run the proxy generator. I'll clear those disks out.
Next camera design is
I'll drop
totally
this
going to
disk in.
have the
And now I'll
camera
start the
cloud
proxy generator.
features
It's got
built
the right
into it.
proxies
There's
that we
no
want.
way it's not.
Yeah.
They don't build
There it is
something
there.
like this and not have that.
And now it'll start generating proxies for this disk, and it's generating them all the media, proxies for all the media on this disk. Now imagine a freelancer using a cloud pod when they're working offsite or at home. You know, you only
Yeah.
need to sync the proxies. Using proxies only means you can just use a cheap disk, and the proxies will sync in a few minutes. So it's the perfect freelancer solution, or really anyone working offsite actually. Now, you know, like there are some limitations though. These flash disks can slow down when they're really heavily used because they're kind of consumer grade storage and they can heat up when they're really loaded up. You know, when they get hot and they slow down. Now, our Blackmagic Cloud stores have active cooling, so they stay fast even under heavy load. But for general use, I don't think that's a huge limitation. But the big advantage is you get your media on the media disk from your chute on the network instantly. So you don't even have this delay of copying the files. We've already half-generated all the proxies for this media now. So the Blackmagic Cloud Pod is also available now. I think it's a great way to try out the cloud workflow. It'll be priced at $395. It's more affordable because it doesn't have any flash memory. You use USB disks. But I like that it still has the monitor output because that's kind of the fun bit. So I think it'll be very useful. Now, also, I wanted to come back to HyperDeck Extreme. Now, in the demo, I used HyperDeck Extreme 8K models for the recording, but these 8K models are pretty high-end and they're a bit overkill for most work. So we'll actually have a new model of HyperDeck Extreme soon. It'll be called HyperDeck Extreme 4K HDR. It has the same features, it has the same connections, it has a nice LCD screen and built-in scopes, but it's lower cost because it doesn't have the 8K codec built in. So it'll be priced at $2,995, and we think it should be available in about a month or so.
Wow.
With this model, it dramatically reduced the cost of ISO recording, but it still has the cache slot underneath, so you can add the M.2 memory
How long
card.
is this going to go?
Which means you get reliable ISO recording even on a busy network. So I think this is an important
Are they going
model.
to talk about Resolve?
As for the HyperDeck Extreme software update that we showed with the network recording, we expect that again in a month or two. It's working well, but we need to beta test it. A lot of the stuff, things are working between each other, so we need to do a lot of beta testing. And so that new software will also be a free update when it's available. So we did talk about Davinci Resolve 18 in this update, but there are a lot of other collaboration features than the ones we showed you. Like there's timeline compare to check between differences in timelines. It's got live chat built in, so you can chat with other users, particularly when you're in different locations. So these are really quite useful features for collaborative workflows. However, cloud workflow is not the only thing we've been doing. We have some clips that we've got some trainers to do for us to show us some of the new features in Davinci Resolve 18. So I'd like to play those clips for you now. So let's start with color, and we'll show you the what's new in color video.
Okay, color's above me.
In Davinci Resolve 18, the addition of new effects and updates to existing tools has expanded grading functionality more than ever. The Object Mask is a groundbreaking tracking tool that intuitively detects and tracks objects within a shot. To activate it, open the Magic Mask palette and click the Object Mask button. Drag in the viewer to make an initial selection, and enable the mask overlay to review and fine-tune the result. When you're satisfied, track the shot using the transport controls in the palette. Once keyed, objects can be individually graded to produce the optimal look for your scene.
Holy shit, and even him crossing behind the tree and it...
The Object Mask produces very impressive results, even upon initial selection.
This
However,
is really
it also
impressive.
features
No,
helpful
no,
additive and subtractive strokes to help with more challenging tracks. This makes it possible to select visually complex objects and follow them, even as they are obscured by other elements in the scene or if they leave the frame. Going beyond simple chroma and luma keying, the Object Mask makes precise selections even when there are strong shadows or dramatic fluctuations in light. The palette's parameters allow you to control the complexity of the matte, with the better quality suited for selections with very fine detail, like fur or hair.
They've killed Adobe.
Of course.
The Object Mask has been tested on thousands of objects and has a recognition rate unlike any other tool in the industry. This includes people, animals, vehicles, facial features, and countless other elements. Use the Object Mask to emphasize products in commercials, perform sky replacements, or any number of creative applications that even we haven't thought of yet.
You can only get this on
There's no way they
In the
didn't
Resolve
bring this
Effects
to
panel,
Fusion, right?
the new
Places
Depth
at this
Map
point.
effect generates a 3D math key that will allow you to grade the foreground of a shot separately from the background, or vice versa. After adding the Depth Map tool to your node pipeline, use the comprehensive parameters in the OpenEffects palette to determine the depth of the matte, to isolate a range,
Runway ML
and finesse the matte for a smooth result. Once the depth has been successfully mapped, connect the output key of the Depth Map node to any downstream corrector node to isolate grades or effects. Use this workflow to bring greater attention to action in the foreground, to help interview subjects stand out, to add atmosphere to a scene, or even to mimic a shallow depth of field with the help of a blur tool. The new Surface Tracker can be used to apply images or effects to elements with a moving surface. In particular, it's designed to work with textured surfaces that fold or change perspective in dramatic ways.
That's the
like a
light
t-shirt,
plugin.
a banner, or the side of a face. After dragging the Surface Tracker effect into your node pipeline, click on the viewer to define the bounds of the area you wish to track.
Why are all these visual effects
Then click
tools
the
in the
Mesh
code
button
page?
to review the default grid that's generated based on your area selection. The points and their connection lines represent the trackable features of the texture. They can be increased and refined in the Mesh options. Run the track, and then adjust parameters to change the motion range
That's so
or
fast.
mesh rigidity.
They are.
You can then drag and drop an image into the node
I
pipeline,
mean, this is dropping stuff on
connect
so
it
many
to the
different
surface
companies.
tracker
This
node,
isn't even just
and
Adobe
use the
anymore.
settings to adjust its size and placement on the tracked surface. You can seamlessly
That's
blend your
insane.
tracked image to the environment with the help of standard corrector nodes and existing effects like
I
film
mean, this
grain
is taken
and
on
patch
like
replacer.
Red Giant and Maxon
And
like
with a slightly
everyone.
different workflow, you can also apply effects to the warped surface by first generating
Yeah.
a stabilized output of the area
Yeah, that's
and
how you
reapplying
do
it
the
to the surface
nutty.
tracker. The surface tracker offers robust pattern recognition and warps in response to motion in the tracked surface, but it remains highly customizable. You can change mesh bounds, introduce holes, or design your own track pattern by warping a default mesh to match the folds of a material. You can also combine the surface tracker with power windows to isolate the end result to specific regions of the tracked area.
Oh, that's so
The beauty
awesome.
effect now features an ultra beauty mode that gives you advanced control over a subject when performing corrective beauty work. Developed with feedback from professional colorists, this tool makes it possible to address general imperfections by smoothing skin and then recovering detail to produce a result that is natural and complementary to the subject.
Okay,
This
I can be
approach
able to
results in
sit
some
better
interesting
now.
application potential when it comes to smoothing any rough surface, from damaged walls and roads to distracting reflections or even video compression artifacts like banding and aliasing. The fast noise effect generates randomized noise data that can be used to replicate different types of atmosphere or particle-like
What?
effects. Its many parameters give you advanced control over the final appearance of the noise, but you can also use the preset menu at the top to get a quick start on effects like mist and smoke, which you can then track to the motion of your shot using the effects tracker. Other presets act as displacement maps that can warp your image to imitate the motion of water or heat haze. The edge detect effect has been reworked to include new gamma and filter controls, as well as a new half edge option that allows you to keep only the light or dark side of an edge. Use this tool to sharpen soft clips, or inversely to create a glow around a subject. The D-spill effect helps
I'm
clean
not
up subjects
prepared for them to
affected by
get to
unwanted
fusion.
color spills. It works with green,
You got a lot more
blue,
content coming
and
up.
even red chroma screens. Combine it with a magic mask to remove natural color cast from environments with dominant hues.
Whoa.
The Transform plugin now supports an additional RGB input, allowing you to position and composite one image over another within a single clip.
Oh, that's cool.
In the Chromatic Aberration Removal plugin, a green-purple slider has been added to help counteract every possible variation of chromatic lens aberration.
Ooh, that's great. Awesome.
In the lens
I love
reflections
that.
effect, bokeh has been added as a preset, allowing you to imitate this distinct lens aesthetic on out-of-focus lens reflections generated
What?
from highlights and light sources. And when working with the Film Grain plugin, you now have the option to animate it with every refresh, meaning that instead of seeing static grain, you will now have animated grain, giving you a clearer representation of your final look as you are grading. Other system improvements give you the option to render individual clips with timeline effects. There's now support for 10-bit viewers on Windows and Linux, and the option to stream video outputs to remote monitors when collaborating with others. This covers
What?
just some of the
What?
new features in Davinci Resolve 18's color page. Thank you for watching.
That's really great. I mean, some of our AI technology now is really amazing.
That's just
So
really,
next
that's
up, let's
really
check out
great.
what's new in
Yeah.
editing.
Davinci Resolve 18 has multiple improvements for editors and VFX artists.
Duh.
The refreshed
saw-
Project Manager now has dedicated buttons for easier import and export of Davinci Resolve project files,
That's nice.
along with new options for copying projects between local, network, and cloud-based project libraries. And now you can instantly set customized project settings to be the default for all new projects using the option in the
That's nice.
project settings
Oh,
window.
that's needed.
That's great.
A new user preference option allows you to automatically generate keywords when importing media that contains macOS Finder tags,
It's nifty.
which are then instantly displayed within the keyword smart bins.
Ooh, that's wow.
The new Blackmagic Proxy Generator app automatically creates proxy files for media placed in a specific watch folder. These proxy files are then automatically linked when the full-res camera files are imported into a project. This automatic linking also happens if the proxies are created once the media has been imported. It's also now easier to identify which clips in your project are using proxy files. A new proxy icon is displayed next to the clip name or on the clip thumbnail in the media pool. The same icon can also be seen for any clips using proxy media in the timeline and in the color page. If generating proxy files from Resolve, you can now choose where the proxies will be stored from new options in the media storage preferences. You can use the proxy subfolders in the media file locations as the Proxy Generator app does, the location set in the project settings, or have Resolve ask where the proxies should be stored each time you choose to generate them. A new proxy handling submenu option allows you to specify how your proxy files are used. Preferred proxies will use available proxy media for all clips. If no proxies are available, the original media file is used. Prefer camera originals will ignore any proxies and use the original media file. But if the original file isn't available and a proxy file is, then the proxy will be used. These options are particularly useful when working remotely, using the new cloud collaboration features, as they enable you to work with available files as they are being synced. Alternatively, you can choose to disable all proxies when grading or working on visual effects,
I'm going to have to spend a lot of time this summer
with a
learning
dedicated menu for these options being available in the cut page.
Cool. Oh, in the cut page.
Davinci Resolve 18 has multiple improvements for subtitling, with extended support for importing TTML and XML files, and subtitles embedded in XMF and IMF files. In the timeline, each subtitle track can now contain multiple simultaneous captions. Simply right-click the subtitle track in the timeline to add a new region or rename an existing region. Each region can have its own formatting and can contain additional overlapping captions, ideal for indicating different speakers or multiple simultaneous sounds on complex soundtracks.
That's great.
That wouldn't be possible.
Well, it's possible, Dr. Kaminsky.
Yeah, Camera Tim, that might be helpful. I might hit you up for that.
Yeah, Dr. Camera Tim.
Damn, I'm impressed.
For larger multicam projects, a new 5x5 layout allows you to see up to 25 different angles at the same time.
Just cause, you know.
Yeah. Well, they have more power from those new M1 and M Ultras.
Shape, iris and white transitions now have a new option for quickly reversing the direction of those transitions. You can now navigate directly to keyframes outside the limits of trimmed timeline clips, either using the next and previous keyframe controls in the inspector or by using keyboard shortcuts, ideal for refining animations beyond a clip's duration in the timeline.
Interesting. That's
so
good. I know
Improvements
keyframes.
to the way fusion elements are now processed have resulted in huge increases to real-time performance for many of the fusion templates in the edit page. In Davinci Resolve 18, many of the included templates can now play back in real time without the need to enable the render cache.
Wow.
That's so great. Awesome.
The updated live preview feature for text clips and fusion templates also allows for the instant adjustment of colors.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Thank you.
Significant performance changes have been introduced to Fusion's Paint tool, making it a faster, GPU-accelerated tool with higher quality results and increased rendering speeds, making this an all-round, more productive tool.
I mean...
Fusion's Merge tool now includes additional blend modes to help create various effects and looks.
Cool.
This support has been extended to imported PSD files, preserving any blending
Terry, they went with
operations that
Davinci
may have
instead of
been
the
used
camera.
in the original source file. 5 new merge operations have also been
This is
included.
awesome.
Conjoint and disjoint make it easier to combine alpha channels, whilst mask and stencil allow you to easily merge and combine mats. Davinci Resolve 18 now also supports direct uploading to supported social media accounts as part of the Deliver page settings.
Twitter, Vimeo, YouTube.
And the new Quick Export
No
window
Instagram?
features improved layouts for easier access to multiple export presets.
That's smart.
That's nice.
So that's great. There's some really nice new features there. Okay, so next up is audio. So let's check out what's new in Fairlight Audio.
Oh, cool.
The Fairlight audio page is loaded with new features, intuitive controls, and enhanced tools for professional audio editing, mixing, and recording in traditional and multi-user workflows. FlexBus is Fairlight's flexible audio busing and routing system. Davinci Resolve 18 users can now convert a legacy FixBus project to FlexBus in the project settings dialog. FlexBus projects offer new and innovative workflows with nested timelines, so you can quickly merge one timeline into another. Let's take a closer look. In this example, I need to add the dialog mixer's timeline to the master mix, so I'll simply drag the dialog timeline to an empty track, where it appears as a single clip that can be played as is or expanded with a right click and decomposed to new tracks. From here, there are several options. Choosing new matching buses adds your mix from the nested timeline to the existing timeline by creating completely new matching buses, keeping both the original buses in the current timeline and buses from the nested timeline intact. The new buses include all of the bus routings, processing, settings, and automation from the nested
And this is all
source
within
timeline.
the same program, right? Like you don't have to
Previously
bounce back
existing
and forth
buses
between
in the
different
current
programs.
timeline are not
All in
affected in
one
any way.
Platform.
This workflow is great for combining mix elements from different contributors' work into a template or master timeline for mixing. If you want to merge your mix to an existing mix in another timeline, choose the Preserve option, which preserves all of the master bus information in the current timeline and routes existing buses from the source nest to the same buses in the open timeline. In this example, I'll add a Foley Effects mix to a mix in progress and choose the Decompose to New Tracks, Preserve Existing Paths option. This preserves the mix in progress. All the incoming tracks are routed to the matching buses without changing any of their settings or automation. If you have additional buses in your nested source timeline, they'll be brought in as new buses with all their connections and information intact. There's also a Clips Only option available on the Edit page for merging only clips from the nest into existing tracks in the current timeline. Here, I'll drag the edited Foley
This
session to the
functionality for
master
audio
timeline.
production is great.
Go to the Edit
Yeah, where is
page
Diegetic
and
Audio? We'll have to get his take on
decompose
this at
only.
another camera channel.
Now the Foley clips are in perfect sync and ready for mixing. With Davinci Resolve 18, you can freely rearrange tracks and buses in the Tracks index. You can even move buses and VCA groups into the Tracks area to customize fader mapping and organize your mix.
All I know is this
The
has
new
way more
track and bus
functionality
order
than
is
Audition
reflected
does.
in the monitoring panel, timeline, and mixer.
As long as I can use isotopes with this still.
In the mixer, you can choose the option for
You can?
single mixer view, which
Yeah.
removes
okay,
the
well,
divider
I'm
between
pretty
the
much
tracks
sold
and
at this
buses.
point.
You can reset the track order anytime, right here in the Mixer Options menu. The Fairlight
biggest
Mixer
key is
offers a
taking
variety of
people from
enhanced
Pro
processing
Tools to
features,
bring them over
like
to
improved
this.
plugin management with easy menu options to delete, disable, or replace plugins. Fairlight's
Jesper, we
built-in
do need the
channel
audio
EQ
guide, right?
and dynamics processing controls are more intuitive than ever, with single-click bypass to toggle on or off,
Awesome. Awesome.
right-click or keyboard shortcut options to copy and
Cool.
paste to another
That's
channel,
that's real nice.
Oh, thank you.
and double-click
that.
to open.
Yeah,
Inside the
that's super
channel
nice.
strip EQ window, there's a set of new built-in
Oh,
presets
Tim
for
does sound a bit
dialogue,
laggy.
sound design, and even music mastering. There's also improved cue controls with mouse wheel input. Simply
This is
hover
like
over
the
the
longest
handle on the
release
graph and scroll the mouse
stream
wheel
I've
to
ever seen.
raise or narrow the bandwidth.
Yeah, Toby, we can all agree it's probably
The
pretty
channel
good features
dynamics
that they're
window
adding
also
in the audio
includes a
section.
handy set of built-in presets, enhanced metering, and gain display.
Wow, that's
Plus, new soft knee and dry mix controls in FlexBus
Rad.
projects. FlexBus routing is faster than ever. Simply click to choose one bus at a time, or hold the Option Alt modifier key to apply to all selected tracks or buses at once. This is awesome for quickly routing, clearing, or disabling FlexBus outputs and sends.
If I was actually doing
Over in the
film
timeline,
stuff,
you'll
this should be
find a
so nice.
variety
Oh, yeah. I mean, this
of
is
improvements
incredible
based on
for
user
when you're working with a
requests,
billion audio
like the
files.
ability to double-click a clip in the timeline to rename it, and easily set per-track clip names for new recordings right in the timeline. You'll also find improved pitch shifting and audio read times for multi-channel audio.
Yes, Burnfields. Yeah. That's about what I'm doing too.
What's that meme of the person looking behind at the like it's Resolve and Premiere's
Yep.
And easy Option Alt modifier combinations to add and remove keyframes. For elastic wave speed changes, use Command click to add keyframes and Command Option click to remove them.
Yeah, that was better with audio. Like this,
For clip
this would make so
gain,
much more
use
sense
Option
to me. But
click
like, this is
to add
insanely awesome
keyframes
anyways.
and Command
Yep.
Option click to remove them. You can even apply clip gain to a range selection in either 1 decibel or 3 decibel increments. Davinci Resolve 18 also offers a variety of audio nudge options, including new
Yeah, Tim, I
audio
think your mic's
subframe
going
nudge
a
controls
little
for
weird. You
clip
might have
and
to
range
reconnect at some point.
selections. Choose either
Yeah, it feels like a
millisecond
connection
or
thing more than a mic
subframe
thing.
intervals, set the amount,
Cool.
and save. Feel free to create your own subframe nudge shortcuts in the keyboard customization window.
Yeah, I'm sold because I like like if I can do more key shortcuts with stuff.
Nudge it.
Adobe sucks at shortcuts. Like I have to like custom build them.
Fairlight's automation toolset now includes independent controls
I don't
to
even know what to
enable
talk about in a review
automation
video,
and
'cause
expose
I'm making
global
something right after
controls
this,
for
but, like,
automation parameter type.
There's so much
so you
to
can
talk
show or
about.
hide the automation control toolbar as needed without
Wait,
affecting
so,
whether
yeah.
the automation is on or off.
I never got back to if the base cloud features.
Finally, there's improved
Hey,
No,
audio metering
I'm
with
trying to wait and see
IEC,
here.
digital VU, and custom meter presets with project settings for level detector, scale, decay, peak
audio
indicator,
sounding
and
better?
more. So you
Nope.
can choose your preferred metering settings
your
for
Mr.
your
Robot
recording,
voice.
editing, and mixing
You might have to like
sessions.
log
These
out
are
and then
just
come back
some
in.
of the exciting
maybe.
new audio features in
Here we go.
DaVinci Resolve
Oh.
18.
So I think this is a really nice update. It's a monster update. It's a big
Box
one.
camera.
As you know, we've been actually releasing acceleration updates for the Apple M1 chip over the last year. And we've rewritten the entire rendering engine so it can support these new M1 computers. Plus, we've rewritten the entire project management tool to support the cloud workflows. So there's a lot of new code in DaVinci Resolve 18. So what that means is to ensure that it's all really working well, we're going to release it as a public beta. It'll be available from today. Now, DaVinci Resolve 18 will be a free update for all users. It's a public beta, so don't install it in the middle of a job. You know, you will have to do a database upgrade after you install it because there's some database changes. I always export my projects as a DRP file just for safety. But I think it's going to be really exciting to try out these new cloud workflows. Now, the Blackmagic Proxy Generator will be included free with DaVinci Resolve Studio. It's installed into the Applications folder as a separate application, and you can just leave it running and it'll create proxies automatically. Now, there's actually also a version of the Blackmagic Proxy Generator included with the free DaVinci Resolve, but it's called Blackmagic Proxy Generator Lite. It's the same, but it's actually missing some of the file formats, and that's due to licensing. So you only get the full
Not as big a deal.
file formats with DaVinci Resolve Studio, but it's a really good to include it anyway, even if it's a bit limited. The Blackmagic Proxy Generator Lite will be included with the Cloud Store products as well, and it's supported on both Mac and Windows. But the Windows version actually has less codecs than the Mac version. That's because the Lite version uses codecs built into the operating system, so it's really dependent on that. But you can fix that on the Windows side if you buy the codec upgrade from Microsoft for Windows. So now I want to come back to Blackmagic Cloud. Now, I haven't shown you the presentations feature yet, and so this is pretty exciting, and it lets you present your work to clients. So let me show you now how it works.
Yeah, they have taken
And
on
so
Frame.io.
We'll start
That's
by
why they
coming
went
back to the
free.
computer and
That
selecting
makes more sense now.
presentations. So let me come back. I'll quit that.
Oh, whatever.
And I'll go back to all those presentations up there.
Don't do this to me.
There we are. Now, we need to create a new presentation, so I'll do that.
Oh my word.
I mean,
Oh. There we go. So let's create a new one.
if he does.
So now we've got a new presentation. We can see all the features. And what I'll do is I'll...
Oh my word!
open
Like,
things out
yeah,
a bit.
they can do this. It will create markers that get added
some
right to the
space.
timeline,
Just like Frame.io.
Yeah. And probably draw on it just like you
presentations
can
are always
too.
live. So I'll explain the
And I'm assuming
features
this
we've
is
got here
free.
first. So you can see
It's
on the
wild.
left-hand side here, this is
Like,
where
this is
we have
just-
people. We can also upload clips. We've also got a video channel on the top here. This is where we present the videos in this section here. And over here we can do markers and annotations, and chat. So you can see the features there. Now these, as I was saying, these presentations are always active. You just have to arrange a time for everyone to meet. And you can log in any time if you need to check
Yeah,
something.
it's just
A
like
good
a
example if you
custom
wanted to read
view
or add
of
some
the
annotations.
timeline.
So let's
At
upload
all
a video
times.
and we'll review it.
Or
Go
I
on
guess.
clips.
Oh, that's interesting. Never mind. You still upload a
files.
file.
And
Yeah.
we've got a
So
file
maybe
on
not.
desktop.
Maybe not.
This is a video of around our
It's
office.
just more like normal
So
Frame.io.
we'll upload that. There it is now, and it's uploading. You can also upload direct from Davinci Resolve. So, we've got the team here in the studio. So what we want to
got
do
the
is share
team
the presentation with them. Now, this could be a team spread around the world or a team, in different parts of the building. So to do that, we'll add some users. Now, this is similar to the project server. I just add some people. And you use their Blackmagic Cloud ID to do that. So let's add some users. And it's easy. I just go here. I'll need to go to my text file and grab everyone's Blackmagic Cloud IDs. There it is there.
This, I mean, the
got it?
functionality they've added
There it
into
is.
this.
Roll up. Now we've got a presentation set up with multiple users. So that should
Any
bring
one
everyone
of these
online.
little things would have
Now,
been an
every user will
announcement
get
from any other
notified
company.
via email that they've built a shared presentation. So they just log into Blackmagic Cloud and see the presentations that are active for them. And you can see everyone connecting now. So let's get some of the other users to connect. So if everyone can connect up, you can see some of the people coming online already.
Oh,
Probably worth muting your mics to make sure because we're all in the same studio. So we'll probably get an echo if there's
Wow.
any mics on. So now we're all connected. You can see we can use the video conference along the top to chat. Hi, everyone. I know our mics are off, but we can all wave. Do sign language. Welcome to the meeting, Now, we want to watch the videos. We can watch the videos. We can add annotations. We can do all these things. But a lot of the time, we actually want to talk about the same shot. If we're working on something, we're all, want to focus on, keep everyone synced up. So we need to really sync everyone. Now, what we need to do is make sure that we're all looking at the same point in the video. So to do that, we can use the sync playback control. And then when we shuttle and play, everyone's playing in sync. So let me enable that. So I just go down here to the sync control. And if I move along the timeline, you should see everyone move to the same spot. And then if I hit play, we should be able to see everyone play. So you can
What?
see everyone's playing together. There it is. So it's really cool. So you can see that on the training booth. We're all looking at the same part of the video. So when we add annotations, we're all adding annotations
Yeah.
to the same spot. So
no
it's very
more
powerful.
like, hey, at like
Let's actually add an
34,
annotation. I'll
do
just
you-
stop and I'll
The
turn off
functionality is
the
10
sync
times
so we
better
can
in
all actually
Frame.io
add a few
just because
annotations.
of that.
Someone's already added one, so I can add one here.
Because you can literally sit with a client and go through a video and
it's
talk
all
with
right.
them about it instead of, I mean,
So I can add one. Oh, there's a few there. It's cool. So you can see all the annotations up on the right-hand side. Now, these annotations can be exported out to Davinci, and they're loaded into the timeline. So this means you can present to a client, and their feedback can be logged in the annotations. And then it's visible in Davinci.
Got
Now,
it,
this will
got
work in Davinci as
Yep.
well as other edit software. So you can see really how powerful Blackmagic Cloud is. The project server lets you collaborate between multiple users. That means you can access a world of creative talent. Then with presentations, you can present to clients anywhere. Or you can use it for large production teams, bringing a production team together. Presentations always
But
stay
how do you
active,
create
so it's a
that
dedicated
footage
meeting
and-
room that you can use for as long as you need it. It's really nice to leave it running in the background while you work. And then people can just log in and start chatting, so it's pretty cool. So initially, we'll be releasing Blackmagic Cloud as a public beta. The project server will be a public beta, and the presentations will be a private beta. So this means you can try out the cloud workflows with Davinci Resolve 8 in public beta. Now, the Blackmagic Cloud website should be online today. If it's not online today, it'll be online in the next few days. It really depends on the server loads. We're going to try and launch it in as many countries as we can, but it might take a few weeks to roll that out worldwide. We
That
might
makes
start in
sense.
the US and then out of other countries as fast as we can. But the server work behind Blackmagic Cloud is actually pretty complex, so we'll work as fast as we can. But please be patient with us while we get it all up and running. We might need a little bit more time than we expected once things really get loaded up. Okay, now let's talk about the cost. So the cost will be $5 per library per month. We'll only charge for the library, so there's no charge for users who share the project, only the host. So a company could pay the $5 and share it for dozens of freelancers, and it would be free for all the freelancers.
Okay.
We think this will help you connect to talent faster because they don't need to do anything.
That's nothing.
All you have to do is share
No.
the project with the Blackmagic Cloud ID. And there's no charge for a Blackmagic Cloud ID, so they don't need to pay anything. Plus, Blackmagic Cloud even works with the free Davinci Resolve, so freelancers don't have to pay for the cloud and they don't have to pay for the software. You can download the software for free and run it on the computer you already own. Plus, you never get trapped as you can export the project file out from Blackmagic Cloud. This means you can export your project from Blackmagic Cloud, then delete the library and the costs will stop. That's great if you don't have any shared jobs running. You don't get charged for stuff you're not using. Also, it's worth noting that with the older Davinci Resolve 17 projects, they could be a little slower if you copy them into Blackmagic Cloud, because in those older project format, we stored a bunch of stuff that we didn't really need. But it's only really an issue for very complex film jobs, and most people doing really complex film jobs have fast internet, so I don't think it'll be an issue. I don't think anyone will see any issues there. But Davinci Resolve 18 projects are fine. Of course, the Davinci Resolve project server app is still included with Davinci Resolve. Now, that software has also been updated, so it's much faster in Davinci Resolve 18. So this means now
normal collaboration.
It'll handle people working off-site, which is great. It's a simple app that runs on the computer you already own. It means you don't have to pay anything at all if you use that app for your shared projects. But technically, it's a little harder to set up because you need to use a VPN for the remote users. But it's a good solution for technically skilled people who want to keep their workflow private, because it's totally private. The network tab in the Davinci project window is where you actually connect to the private server app. You connect via an IP address, so it's not quite as easy as Blackmagic Cloud, but you do get full control. And it's often how a lot of the big film studios work. In many ways, the Davinci Resolve project server app is the best solution for working on an internal network, because you've got it all local. As for presentations, there'll also be a charge for that, but we haven't quite worked the specific cost for it. But again, only the host will pay. None of the shared users will pay. And we'll let you know how much presentations cost when it's publicly
That's so
available.
helpful.
But we'll focus on the collaborative workflows first. So that's about it for this update. We sure have covered a lot of new products. We introduced Blackmagic Cloud and showed the project server. We introduced Davinci Resolve 18 with collaborative workflows. We showed how to connect to a shared project. We introduced the Blackmagic Cloud Store products for sharing media. We showed you the new proxy generator application. You can see how easy it is to use proxies in Davinci Resolve 18. In this update, we also introduced HyperDeck Shuttle and showed how it can browse the Cloud Store. We introduced Blackmagic Cloud presentation, so it's a lot of new things. It could all seem a bit complex, but each part's not really difficult to understand. But over the next few months, we'll be really focused on improvements and how people use it, as everyone starts to use it. Plus, we'll be at the NAB show in Las Vegas, so it'll be great to chat about this workflow. If you do start using the Blackmagic Cloud, then we'd love to talk to you. Anyway, I hope you like these new products. I really can't wait to see how they're used. I can't wait to get back to shows and just talk to people in person. It'll be so great. Okay, well, take care, and thanks for watching the update. Bye.
Wow.
Dang. Well, I got to say, I think that made up for the disappointment in not having a box cinema camera because, I mean, I don't know how much more do you want out of a company and a release? Like, good Lord, like any one of those specific things would have been a release by another company, just on that one thing. Like, it's very exciting because this is almost even better than a camera update because they have good camera tech already. This is moving the industry towards more of that ability to work from wherever you're at. Especially, I feel like the pandemic really has pushed us to this point, which means now we don't have to work. We can work collaboratively with people.
I just lost something. Yeah, I still got nothing. I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, website updated, by the way. Vector different. Cool. Hey, John, can you hear me? Can you toss up the Blackmagic Design website? Resolve's up there. Can I share my screen? Okay.
There we go.
You're back.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let me see if I can find the website real quick. Let me see if it'll let me do that.
I'm going to what's new. Tons of collaboration stuff. Oh, yeah. Song collaboration. Okay, this object mask. If this isn't by itself brought into Fusion, that's kind of lame.
Yep.
Because like you can round trip, it's just kind of funky. Edit, multicam stuff, Fusion.
Are you guys hearing me now?
Yeah, I'm hearing you
yeah.
now. This is
Okay.
yeah. I mean, there's so much stuff packed into this. I'm glad they got a little thing. I'm going to be doing for those of you maybe coming in later. I'm going to be doing a video here soon on a lot of all this. I'm sure Patrick's going to be doing more videos. There's so much to talk about. So expect future videos on a lot of this stuff. I'm going to be I'm going to be at NAB, so I'm definitely going to be asking a bunch of questions like on all this as well as some other things. So it's absolutely insane. I'm excited to use it. I'm at this point, like I've always been a big Adobe Premiere person, but I feel like now is the kind of the point where I might have to start switching over slowly to it, just because it's incredible. So I don't know how the rest of you felt. I mean, they took on the whole industry. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
I'm gonna have to do the Resolve database backups on both my computers and just like do a whole bunch of stuff before I even download and install any of this beta stuff.
Yep, and I'm not going to probably buy any of their NOS stuff yet. I feel like I'm going to get that smaller one for like freelancers as a good test to really see how well it works and stuff, and then go and get maybe that 8 terabyte at some point.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Yeah. But any final comments to wrap this up? As I know we all probably have to go make some content now.
Way more than I thought.
Yeah, this is going to take a while to comb through everything that they put in there, plus the hidden stuff that they didn't announce. And
Yep.
it's just...
It's going to be for those of you just tuning in, I will be definitely making a quick overview video that's probably going to be like maybe 8 minutes long. That'll cover everything that was in this 2-hour long thing, just quick overview. And then we'll be following up with more videos going into the future about stuff. Definitely be sure to subscribe to Patrick Serling's channel. He will be covering a lot of stuff that I probably won't get to, just because he has experience in some of that stuff in the more editing side in Davinci. And
wow.
It's
okay. How do I log in?
Yeah.
Okay. How do I get rid of my stop, go away. Stop.
I know, Vern Fields. I'm really conflicted too, because I have such a long history of Premiere Pro and it's all set up so well, and it's just going to be hard. It's going to be interesting to see how to even do. Yeah, it's insane,
Fun.
But awesome. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was fun. Wow.
That was a lot of fun.
That was like a 1.5 hour long release from them. So yeah.
So I can't believe one of the tweets I put out earlier, like months ago when I was talking about different stuff, and I said let me find it because I kind of called it. I don't think they'll do it. Oh, so I was wrong about that. But I think a reasonable service Blackmagic could offer is a subscription to simplify access for remote collaboration features. Yep. I'm thinking Davinci Resolve meets Minecraft Realms. And that's pretty much what it is. It's just like one person does it for everyone. It's not per user. It's per the project. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see people like start to use this and like see how robust the system is. But the fact that they can just hook it up to like all 12 different cameras and the 30 computers at once, and it's all able to run off that one thing. It's absolutely insane. Ooh, okay. Bye.
Yeah, there's on my Apple Watch Blackmagic design tweet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, thanks, Tim. Thanks, Patrick, for being on. Thank you all for tuning into this thing. It's been great. Expect to see content here today at some point. A quick overview from this if you just want to remember and see all the different things going on. But awesome. Great talking with you guys. I'll see you guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bye.
See you guys later. Bye.
Adios.